Live from Altavista High School, it's time for Colonels basketball. The Altavista Colonels playoff action on 105.5 KD Country. I'm Kyle Haney. With me tonight, we got the gang back together. Hey, we had a great Dave and Dave show last night, but tonight it's Agent Zero in the house, Big O. First round regional action for the Altavista Colonels. Got to win this game to extend the season. Don't need to say much more than that, huh?
No, we were talking about that before we came on air, and unique situation, seeded number one in the region, and like you said, you advance to the regional semifinals, and you get to the state tournament. So a lot on the line for the game tonight.
It is a lot on the line. The Altavista Colonels were last in action Friday night against Luray in the Conference 44 title game. You heard that game live on 105.5 KD Country. Colonels get the win. I'll talk to Coach Harris about that. We'll talk about this one here tonight. It's the Matthews Blue Devils in town again. Same opponent that the girls had last night, except the location was reversed. The Lady Colonels had to make the long trip, and a really nice win for them, Oscar. Pretty dominating defensive performance in the second half for Deborah Spencer and her squad.
Certainly when you get into a 5 versus a 4 seed, which the Colonels were a 5 seed, and Matthews was a number 4 seed, you anticipate a very close game, and it was close for a while, but the Colonels' stifling defense just really ended up taking Matthews out and ended up really being a dominating performance in the second half for the Lady Colonels. So great job by Coach Spencer, and congratulations to her and her team.
Absolutely. It was an interesting story. It was 17 all at halftime, and then the Lady Colonels end up winning by 20+. So that tells the story right there. We'll see what the story in this one has to say. Matthews Blue Devils, the Altavista Colonels. Let's hear from the head coach of the Colonels, Troy Harris, right after this. It's Altavista and Matthews, first round 1A East Region action. Loser goes home, winner keeps playing. You've got yourself a ringside seat on 105.5 KD Country.
What do basketball, choir, drama club, and marching band all have in common? They're all high school activities that offer learning opportunities not necessarily found in the classroom. They take up just a fraction of a typical Virginia high school's budget, and they go a long way to giving young people the tools they need to thrive. High school activities, they're more than extracurricular. They're extra important, too.
Brought to you by English Construction Company with offices in Lynchburg.
When you need an important business loan, you want to deal with a decision maker who will respond quickly. I'm Penny Wallace with local First National Bank at our airport branch. I'm focused on business customers, and we have a streamlined process to help you with any loan need. I can offer various business loans for real estate, new equipment, and credit lines. So for better business banking, think of us first. That's local First National Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Finch and Finch Funeral and Cremation Service. A family serving family since 1905.
Life is full of opportunities to show someone we love them. One such opportunity is the funeral or memorial service. Finch and Finch helps you celebrate the relationships they shared and honors the memory of your loved one.
Finch and Finch Funeral and Cremation Service. A family serving family since 1905.
PCM Industrial Services recognizes the importance of high school athletics by sponsoring this award-winning broadcast. PCM Industrial Maintenance and Construction Specialists providing welding, millwright, erection, and fabrication services to all forms of industry throughout the Mid-Atlantic region. From offices in Altavista, PCM Industrial Services congratulates the Altavista basketball teams on another successful season. Good luck in the playoffs. Go Colonels.
More live high school sports action on 105.5 KD Country.
Subway pregame show returns from Altavista High School. Final year for the Altavista Colonels. It's a region quarterfinal. We're talking once again with head coach Troy Harris. Coach Harris taking on the Matthews Blue Devils tonight, but let's revert back to last week, Friday. Conference 44 victory. Had to feel pretty good about it. Gosh, the defensive performance by Josh McClure that he turned in on their big gun, and he threw in 20 points to boot. Pretty special night for Josh.
Yeah, I believe that's all I've been talking about to everybody is how good a job Josh did on their Josh Good, holding him to 6 points when he's averaging over 20. I think he said he was averaging 24 today at our meeting. Yeah, it's really impressive what he was able to do and just really locked him up. And I told him before the game, I told the whole team, if we hold him to 15 or less points, I was like, I guarantee you we win. And we walked back in, and he only had 6. And sure enough, we won and took home the trophy.
Yeah, you had some other guys that played pretty well, too. I mean, it was a team effort, but I think you got to look at guys like Mateo Malbeck and Nelson Dews. That trio, those two combined with Josh, it just seemed like they took their game up to a completely different level, really, when it counted the most, if anything.
Yeah, I think we really finally put both ends of the game together, defensively and offensively. We had Josh lead us with 20. I think Mateo had 18 and Nelson had 17. You get three guys scoring like that, and it's really hard to lose ball games no matter how you play defensively, really.
After such a good performance, when you got back in the gym for practice, were the guys kind of still hyped up and elevated, or were they ready to get back to work?
You know, I think with our past few years of playing, they really understand that once a game's over, it's over, and you really have to start looking ahead. So Saturday morning, we didn't do a whole lot physically because those guys that were really out there a lot of minutes, they were pretty beaten up, physically. So it was more of a mental day where we sat, we watched some film that we secured on Matthews and really just watched it and really took them in. Didn't really put a game plan in, just wanted to get familiar with them a little bit. And then went and got some shots up and then went home about an hour. So, yeah, today we'll start putting some game plan in and really start understanding what we want to do against Matthews.
Well, tell us a little bit about the Blue Devils. They come in the 8th seed. That can be a little misleading sometimes in these region tournaments.
Yeah, they're really better than that. They're runner-up in their conference. They lost to Middlesex on Saturday night or Friday night when we beat Luray on Friday night. Couple of athletic guards. They got a guy that could really play for Dan River. I know for a lot of people, including our guys, if you say Dan River, everybody's ears perks up. So this guy could really play for them. Really athletic, gets to the rim, can finish, hit some crazy shots in traffic. Got a point guard. He's left-handed. A really good handler. Doesn't shoot it much, but he likes to penetrate and kick out to the two knockdown shooters they have. If those shooters set their feet, it's going to be a long night. In the film we watched a little bit, those guys hit like 3 or 4 threes in the first quarter, just standing still. The point guard found them, and they knocked it down. So anytime you have a really good point guard, some shooters, and a really good athlete that can get to the rim, you're a pretty good offensive team, I think.
Well, you mentioned guys getting to the rim, hitting crazy shots. Seems like you faced that a bunch this year. I think about Mike Jones from Rustburg, right. Boyd from William Campbell was the same way. With those slashers like that and guys that hit you from those odd angles, is it really just get back to the help defense and you got to be ready to collapse at any time? Yeah,
I think so. It's a good thing because that guy, number 2, he really got to the rim, and our guys weren't shocked about it. It's not something we haven't seen. We see that every night in, night out in the dogwood. So they really understand what they have to do to slow something like that down and close out with a hand up on a shooter. So it's back to basics defensively just to shut those guys down.
Got to win this game or your season's over. Does that come up in the locker room right before jump ball, or do you not even bring that up? Guys are well aware of that.
That's the first thing I told them on Saturday, so they're well aware. I don't think I need to say it again. They know it's an elimination game, even though I probably will here in a few minutes right before the game starts. So they know it. Doesn't really need to be told a lot to them, but we'll be okay, and we'll play our game and hopefully win tonight.
Great stuff, Coach. We'll let you run. Tip-off between the Blue Devils and the Colonels about 10 minutes away on 105.5 KD Country.
Is there a painting project on your to-do list? English's Home Center has added an additional line of paints. English's features Pratt & Lambert Lifetime Warranty Red Seal exterior paints. Choose from hundreds of stunning, beautiful designer colors. Pratt & Lambert interior or exterior paints. Value price to save you money. Pratt & Lambert paint. Never compromise.
English's is your complete home center.
On North Main Street, Altavista.
Life happens. Divorce, family problems, criminal charges, civil litigation, personal injury cases. Turn to David W. Shreve, an experienced attorney at law. David W. Shreve has been practicing law for over 30 years. Free consultation for personal injury cases. David W. Shreve wishing good luck to the Altavista boys basketball team in the playoffs. Go Colonels! David W. Shreve, located 7th Street, Altavista, or by phone 369-6621.
A short drive will save you money.
In the market for a new Chevrolet? Fellers Chevrolet.
FellersDirect.com.
For a huge selection of new Chevrolets and pre-owned vehicles, it's Fellers Chevrolet.
FellersDirect.com.
FellersDirect.com. Selection. Convenience. Fellers Chevrolet.
Fellers Chevrolet.
Always open and only a click away.
FellersDirect.com.
A short drive will save you money. Fellers Chevrolet in Altavista.
KCD Maintenance. Kenny can do it. If you've got a home or business maintenance issue, Kenny can do it. Call 665-1333. That's 665-1333 for KCD Maintenance. Painting, building maintenance, minor construction, and more. Kenny can do it. Call 665-1333. Again, that's 665-1333. KCD Maintenance.
Back to the press box for high school sports on 105.5 KD Country.
Oh, yes, we are in the press box tonight. A lot of times when we get that promo, Oscar, we're down there courtside. But we're in the press box tonight for 1A East Region first round action. It's Matthews against Altavista. Matthews High School over there in the eastern part of the state. Dave and Elizabeth took a nice trip down there, and maybe we'll throw in some Matthews factoids. I know we've got some Matthews fans listening because they announced it over the PA a few times at the girls' game last night that you can listen at kdcountry.com or with the TuneIn app, Oscar.
Well, certainly when we were down in the lobby a little bit earlier, there's a lot of blue and gold here. They've traveled well. And, of course, Matthews is just in a beautiful part of the state. We've made trips down there before and just absolutely love every opportunity. Those people have always been very gracious and great fans, so we enjoy that part of the state.
Yeah, glad to have you folks listening. Glad to have all the folks around Central Virginia listening. The big storms appear to have passed. There's major power outages in the Evergreen area in Appomattox County. Down trees, at least 4 homes have been wrecked, but thankfully no reports of injury, Oscar. So it's seems like it's early in the year for extreme weather and tornadoes and that kind of thing, but Mother Nature doesn't play by our rules sometimes.
There were words. There was word coming out of Chatham that there were confirmed sightings of funnel clouds and possibly touchdowns with some tornadic activity. So hope everybody stays safe. Looks like everything is calming down at this point.
Yeah, I think so. National anthem time here from Altavista. We'll come back with our starting lineups, the team's starting lineups, and it'll be tip-off before you know it between the Matthews Blue Devils and the Altavista Colonels. You're going to hear every second live on 105.5 KD Country.
Hey, this is Mitch at Altavista Appliance Home and Lawn Center. Come check out our large selection of appliances, furniture, mattresses, and lawn care equipment. We carry top brands such as Frigidaire, Whirlpool, Samsung, Maytag, Speed Queen, Best Home Furnishings, Bassett, Ashley, Sealy, Sierra Sleep, and a full line of Husqvarna products. With 0% interest for up to 48 months and customer service you can trust, we will make your buying experience easy and affordable. So come on down and see us today at Altavista Appliance Home and Lawn Center, 606 7th Street, Altavista, Virginia.
Recognized for outstanding service and customer satisfaction, Sonny Merriman Incorporated is Virginia's platinum service Thomas-built bus dealer. As Virginia's oldest and most experienced bus distributor, Sonny Merriman Incorporated has been providing buses to schools, churches, medical facilities, and transit agencies for 50 years. Sonny Merriman Incorporated recognized the Altavista boys and girls basketball teams for their outstanding season and wishes them good luck in the playoffs. Go Colonels!
Jumpstart your business on a winning note with the Altavista Revolving Loan. An opportunity to score big for your company's future growth. Funds available up to $10,000. Loan rate 1% below prime. Check in with Altavista's Economic Development Director, Dennis Jarvis, at Altavista Town Hall. The Altavista Revolving Loan Fund encourages economic development and enhances community vitality, supporting the Altavista Colonels' winning tradition.
Your high school sports station with award-winning coverage on 105.5 KD Country.
We return to Altavista High School for the final segment of the Subway pregame show. You can always eat fresh at all 3 Altavista locations. Main Street, inside the Walmart on Clarion Road, and then further up the road on Route 29 inside Foster Fields. Shout out to Ethan and Kendra, my sandwich artist for the day. And let's tell you about the other folks that bring this ball game, Oscar. Altavista Appliance, Home and Lawn Center on 7th Street in Altavista. Kinlaw Insurance, proudly supporting the Altavista Colonels. Call Mike at 369-5611. Don't do it now because he's in the front row watching the ball game, Oscar, along with his brother. El Cazador on Main Street in Altavista. Try the new menu. David W. Shreve, attorney at law. Get expert legal advice with prompt, straightforward answers. KCD Maintenance, Ken Can Do It Maintenance. Call 665-1333. Altavista Office of Economic Development, helping Altavista grow. Sonny Merriman, Virginia's premier bus company, Fellers Chevrolet, a short drive will save you money. You can hear those Lady Colonel games from last night and last week, or you can hear any Colonel game on demand at the KD Country YouTube channel, brought to you by Fellers Chevrolet. English's, your complete home center, your Pratt & Lambert paint dealer. Finch & Finch Funeral and Cremation Service, a family serving families since 1905. First National Bank. Start mobile banking today with the First Nat mobile app. Download it on iTunes or at Google Play. And English Construction, wishing our high school athletes an exciting and injury-free game as PA announcer Robert Duff gets the crowd fired up here at Altavista. One shout-out before we get to an interesting situation here, Oscar. Let me send a big Colonel hello to our good friend Caleb Cothran. He's a young, up-and-coming athlete for the Altavista Colonels. Big basketball fan, big baseball fan. But Mom and Dad made him stay home and do some homework tonight. So tough luck there, Caleb. Get the studies done. And that's the great thing about KD Country. If you can't make it to the game, we're here for you. Oscar, no light show tonight. Regional rule, you can't have any kind of special stuff that you would do in the regular season, just your normal announcements. You can have some music, obviously, but nobody able to use any kind of special light shows or anything like that.
Yeah, you don't want to give too much appearance of a home court advantage any more than you normally have. Absolutely home court advantage tonight for the Colonels, because really the town's turned out in force as possible, could be the possible last home game for the Colonels. I'd say the gym's probably 75% full. Great crowd here.
It is a nice crowd here tonight, and hopefully they're still showing up. Hey, don't forget, if you're listening online like everybody down in Matthews, we've got a good KD Country fan that listens in Texas, Oscar. I might be able to get into that later. You can thank Chad Rakos, your Allstate agent in Windhurst, Lynchburg, Virginia, for that. And you folks down there in Matthews, you can look Chad Rakos up on the internet. He might get you a quote and save you some money. Big O, let's go with the team's starting lineups here.
First for Matthews, number 3, Elijah Willis. He's a sophomore. Number 20, Stuart Anderson. He's a junior forward. Number 21, Corey Cox, a senior forward. Number 23, Brian Owens. He's a senior forward. And number 25, Ethan Armistead. He is a sophomore.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Go ahead for the Colonels.
All right, the Colonels are going to go with Josh McClure, Lawrence Galliard, Mateo Malbach, Daquan Poindexter in the home white jerseys. Matthews in the road blues with gold trim. First shot up is a three-pointer from Ethan Armistead. It won't go. High rebound controlled by the Colonels, and they rush it into the front court. 7:45 left to play in the first quarter. Still no score. Altavista's first time touching the basketball. It's a zone defense for Matthews, and they've got a steal right off Jump Street. That was Stuart Anderson Jr. that stepped in front of a pass.
A little bit of a lazy pass by Nelson Dews to Josh McClure, cutting across the key.
Anderson going to size up the defense here with a crossover dribble, guarded by Daquan Poindexter. Sends it in the corner to Brian Owens, then gets it right back, and they'll return it to point guard Elijah Willis. He's just a sophomore. Now it's Corey Cox, a step inside the timeline. 7:15 left to play in the first, still no score. Another long two-pointer up this time by Matthews. Good rebound by Josh McClure in the middle of the paint. Controlled it nicely. Altavista will run it into the front court, now hit the brakes. Nelson Dews, baseline. Pull-up jumper from 12 feet is good. That starts the party for the Altavista Colonels. A 2-0 early advantage with 6:54 to play in the first.
Matthews coming across. Altavista opens up in the man-to-man.
Mateo Malbach guarding point guard Elijah Willis. They throw it to Stuart Anderson Jr. He is a slasher. A spin move there to get to the front of the rack, and he scores. Coach Harris was talking about Stuart Anderson Jr. in that pregame show. He's a guy that could start for just about anybody the Colonels face this year.
I watched him in warm-ups, and he was hitting bombs from the Altavista letters here, and that's about 25, 30 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Anderson, I think, committed that foul as Josh McClure drove to the hoop. It'd be great to get him in foul trouble.
Sure would. Came in and blocked that shot from behind. There was a couple other Matthews players around. Foul is actually on number 25, Ethan Armistead. So first free throw up for Josh McClure. In and out, no good. Stroke looked fine. 6:28 left to play in the first quarter. It's a 2-2 score. First quarter presented by English's, your complete home center on Main Street in Altavista, your Pratt & Lambert paint headquarters. Second one will go for Josh. 3-2. Altavista with a 1-point advantage.
Colonels have been streaky at the free throw line all year. Nobody any streakier than Josh McClure.
Yeah, they've had some games where they've knocked down a bunch of free throws, and then some other games where the charity stripe performance has cost them victories, probably, when you look all the way back to Brookville and perhaps the second Appomattox game. Willis driving left, gets to the free throw line. Shot was woefully missed. It hit the backboard but never came close to the rim. Colonels rebound clear. They're on the attack with 6 minutes left to play in the first. Right wing, Nelson Dews, three-pointer. Side of the iron, no good. Rebound controlled by Brian Owens, a senior for Matthews on the baseline. Quick trigger pull-up three from Armistead won't go. Galliard wrestling the rebound away from Stuart Anderson Jr. They'll call a jump ball, mutual possession tie-up. That stops play. 5:47 left in the first. It's Altavista ball on the possession arrow. Briggs, the pace so far is a little bit slow to start out. Matthews has had some looks. I mean, they've had some chances. Colonels have had some chances, too.
Josh McClure with 3 rebounds already, and you're right about the pace.
Shot blocked by Stuart Anderson Jr. Just got the right hand on Daquan Poindexter's soft layup attempt. Willis gets to the free throw line. Kick out. Another 3 coming from Owens. That missed badly. They throw it up ahead to Galliard. Oh, nice steal by Willis to get it back. Couple players on the floor for each team. Maulback and Owens got tangled up and hit the deck. They never made it into the front court. It was a nice steal and recovery by Elijah Willis for Matthews.
Colonels have had a couple of passes that are lazy. I don't know if they're underestimating the speed of Matthews.
Good give-and-go play there. But Maulback, nice defense to wipe it off of Brian Owens' hands. Now here's Stuart Anderson Jr. with the steal. This is back-and-forth ball. Maulback got the steal again. Galliard bounces to Nelson Dews. It was a great pass. He one-handed it. He had to sort of step around the defender and delivered it on target to Nelson Dews, who was waiting patiently under the rim.
I'm going to tell you what, Stuart Anderson is a great-looking athlete.
Absolutely. One of the best we've seen all year. Matthews nearly lost the basketball. Thinking about another quick 3. Here comes Brian Owens. He'll back down Galliard. Now pass it back out to the left point and Elijah Willis. He wants to hand to Stuart Anderson. Anderson wants to try and size up Daquan Poindexter and drive on him. Spin move. Gets into the middle of the lane. Finger roll finish goes. Stuart Anderson is something here. You could tell that Matthews cleared out the lane and said, let's let our big guy Stuart Anderson go to work. He did just that. 5-4, Colonels on top. Anderson could tie from the free throw line.
And he's just a junior, so this is one good-looking basketball player.
Sure is. Got to keep him in front of you. Got to be ready on the help side defense. Chancellor Mormon checks in the ball game for the Altavista Colonels.
Wonder who he's going to be guarding.
Stuart Anderson does convert the free throw. We're tied at 5 with 4:20 left to play in the first.
And nothing against Daquan Poindexter because he's a great defender as well.
3-pointer up from McClure. Skipped off the iron. Rebounded by, guess who? Stuart Anderson Jr. Yeah, I mean, with a great athlete like that, you got to have different guys take a turn. Looks like Daquan's still on him. Willis drives and then leaves it off for Anderson. Anderson behind the back dribble. Step back J is good from 14 feet. Stuart Anderson, again, gives Matthews the lead. 7-5, they're on top. Right at the 4-minute mark, and now he has a chance to extend the lead from the free throw line.
You got to wonder the way he's penetrated and beat all the one-on-one defenders if you'll see Coach Harris go to the Z word.
He is a slasher. I mean, he gets to the rack. He likes to drive. He likes to set you up with those jab steps, those crossover dribbles, behind-the-back dribbles. He does miss the free throw. Galliard rebounds on the left edge of the paint for the Altavista Colonels.
And doesn't mind the contact. He'll initiate to get that defender close so he can get by him.
Oh, yeah. He's well put together. He's about 6'1 or 6'2. And he is solid. I mean, he'd be a tight end on your football team. He is not a skinny guy and not small by high school standards. Nelson Dews eyeing the rim. Now he passes cross court. It's all the way in the corner, left corner to McClure. Blocking foul as Josh McClure was trying to drive along the baseline. It's going to be the second team foul on the Matthews Blue Devils. It comes with 3:35 left to play in the first. Matthews sporting the 7-5 lead. First foul on Brian Owens. Inbound play, lob to Galliard. It wasn't on target. Lawrence caught it anyway and laid it in the conventional way. They were looking for the dunk, but they got 2 points anyway, and we're tied at 7, Oscar.
A little bit higher pass and not quite timed as well by Lawrence.
Mormon is on Stuart Anderson Jr. now. It's a man-to-man defense for Altavista. Oscar mentioned that Z word. He was talking about the zone. Take away by the Colonels. 3-on-2 fast break. Maulback shovels to Mormon. Mormon got caught at a bad angle and tried to make the layup anyway, stepped out of bounds, getting his own rebound.
Well, not only that, but Stuart Anderson closed on him quickly and made him alter his shot.
Stuart Anderson is a guy that he would fit well in the Colonel system, wouldn't he? He blocks shots, he plays end-to-end, he plays defense, and he plays hard everywhere. 3:07 left to play in the first. It's a 7-7 ball game. Cameron Hughes is in the game now for Altavista. It's McClure, Mormon, Malback, and Dews for the Colonels. Playing defense on Stuart Anderson Jr. and the Matthews Blue Devils. Three-pointer up from Elijah Willis. In and out. There's Anderson with the rebound on the right block. They caught Willis with a foul, though. Willis fouled Malback trying to get that rebound back, and that is his first, Matthews' third as a team.
I hate to keep blowing his whistle, but good gosh, Stuart Anderson was boxed out and got around and got to the rebound.
I know. Hey, sometimes we got to report what's happening on the court, right? And he's happening right now. See what the Colonels can do to combat it. They're on offense right now, scoring on the right-hand bucket. McClure, series of pump fakes. He got hacked pretty hard on the low post, and now he's going to the free throw line. Ball never really got out of his hands. That stops play with 2:36 left in the first. Still tied at 7.
That one's going to be on Brian Owens. That's his second. And immediately, Coach Tony Forrest goes to his bench. Looks like Reginald Johnson's going to come in.
I'm Kyle Haney. He is Oscar Briggs. You are you, and we're so glad that you've stopped by to join us here for some Wednesday night basketball. First round regional action between Matthews and Altavista. First free throw, no good from Josh McClure. More shout-outs to come for sure. The gym is pretty full, though. The student section is very full. There is no pep band here tonight, though, and no cheerleaders either. No light show. Those three things combined for an odd look. McClure, a steal in transition, but can't finish.
He couldn't finish because...
Oh, my goodness, Stuart Anderson Jr. with the power jam down the middle of the lane. He came in straight down Broadway and delivered the jackhammer right hand that nobody saw coming. A dunk we haven't seen since Juan Thornhill last year.
He's the one that had the block on Josh McClure down on the other end.
Good grief. Nelson Dews going to try a three-pointer. It's off the mark. McClure with a nice box out on Anderson. He'll go to the rack, and he had it blocked away again. Guess who? Stuart Anderson Jr. He's putting on a show here. I know we're only 6 minutes into this ball game, Oscar, but this might be the 6 minutes of individual ball, the best 6 minutes that we've seen all year.
I certainly think it is. He's got 9 points in those 6 minutes. He has been a dominant force on both ends of the court.
Took off from about 11 feet out on that dunk. One-handed, just ram jam with the right hand. As I mentioned, very Juan Thornhill-esque. Maybe something you'd see LeBron James or Russell Westbrook do in the NBA. Nelson Dews with the ball, left point, going to work it around this zone defense. It's a 1-2-2 zone, Oscar.
And they're packing it in tighter and tighter. Colonels have not proven that they can hit from the outside. There's a screen for Nelson Dews. Still haven't hit from the outside.
Three-pointer off the back plate. Matthews blocks out well.
Very well.
Altavista blocks out well when the shot goes up, but Matthews is their equal in that regard, it looks like. Ooh, nearly a traveling violation by Armistead, but he gave it right back up to Willis. 1:23 left to play in the first quarter. It's a 1-point Matthews advantage, 9-8. They're looking for Anderson Jr. Colonels had the ball carrier bottled up. Now they flip it far sideline to Reginald Johnson, who's in the game. He tried to go with a backdoor cut to Ethan Armistead, but the pass was off the mark. That's a turnover.
After losing 2 out of 3, the Colonels have reeled off 5 wins in a row. And one of the things that I've noticed, and we may ask Coach Harris about it, is out of their man-to-man, they seem to be picking up and double-teaming when that player picks up his dribble. They seem to be doing a little bit more of that than they were early in the year.
Nice observation by you. Hughes going to drive, throws up a wild one, but he was fouled in the process. He will go to the line and shoot 2 with exactly 60 seconds left to play in the first quarter. Back to your point for a moment. Yeah, normally you don't think of double teaming out of a man-to-man defense. A lot of times you traditionally double team out of your zone defense more, but it can be done, and the Colonels have proven that it can be done.
Yeah, they're using the midcourt line and the sidelines to make those traps, using that as a third person, and that's just, that's great coaching and great recognition by the Colonels.
I thought our dear friend and colleague Dave Mabry had some good points last night about the Lady Colonels zone defense and how they'll do a lot of double teaming, sometimes triple teaming, and really put a lot of pressure on you. Cameron Hughes, second one in and out. McClure taps it back to the three-point line. Extra possession for the Colonels. Nelly lost it momentarily, regains the dribble. Wants to drive along the far sideline, lost it again, out of bounds, though. That's a turnover with 53 seconds left to play in the first. Matthews leads by 1, 9-8.
Cardinals been a little bit loose with the ball, and this Matthews team, they're not the quickest team we see, but they're doing a good job getting in the passing lane and creating that disruption for the Colonels.
I think you have this idea sometimes, Altavista's a 1 seed, Matthews is an 8 seed. Colonels will cruise. This will be an easy game. Hey, when you get in the playoffs, there are no easy games, especially in the regional playoff.
Especially you got number 20 on your side for Matthews.
Yeah. Reginald Johnson drives, leaves it off for number 44, Zachary Giroux. That won't go from 2 feet in front of the basket. Colonels rebound. They're on offense in the front court with 23 seconds left. Colonels may opt to hold for 1. If they could score here at the buzzer to end the first quarter and get a lead back, that would provide a nice momentum boost.
Certainly would.
McClure driving, throws it in the right corner to Nelson Dews. Dews is kind of trapped. Now he'll bounce it back off to Josh McClure. McClure chest pass to Nelly. Nelly for 3. Back of the iron. It looked good, but it's too strong. He's got a steal back. Puts up a floater from 10 feet. Won't go. Cameron Hughes tip in won't go. And even Galliard had a chance before the horn, but that will not fall. We have played 8 minutes of basketball. Altavista trailing by 1 to the Matthews Blue Devils. Second quarter on the way when you return to 105.5 KD Country.
You're listening to Colonel Sports on 105.5 KD Country, WKDE, Altavista, Lynchburg.
Some people have never tried food at a Mexican restaurant, so we asked Chad Shelton from Shelton's Plumbing and Heating about his experience.
I wasn't so sure what the green stuff was, but they slipped some on my plate one day, and now I won't have a meal without guacamole. Still can't spell it.
At El Cazador Mexican Restaurant, if you have questions, they give you the answers in English. Mexican and American foods, affordable prices, and fast service. Try it today. El Cazador, Main Street, Altavista.
Now back to the action with Colonel Sports on 105.5 KD Country.
Well, after 1 quarter of play, Stuart Anderson Jr., 9. The Altavista Colonels, 8. Yes, Stu Anderson has all the points for Matthews, but that's not to say he didn't have some help. This Matthews team is not a one-trick pony, but make no mistake about it, this Stuart Anderson Jr. can really play.
I'm trying to think. We've seen Mike Jones. We've seen the Dan River team. We've seen some great individual efforts this year, but I don't know that we've seen a better basketball player after 1 quarter. It's hard for me to say that, but certainly if this continues, best player we've seen.
Yeah, I mean, it's only been 1 quarter of play. There's a foul on Mateo Malback. That was actually away from the ball. Yeah, he's on pace for 36, so that's not bad. 7:53 left to play in the second quarter. Second quarter. Time flies when you're having fun. Matthews to inbound on the baseline, having a little trouble. Hughes poked it away. Nice play by Cameron Hughes. Oh, they're going to say it's last touch off Hughes. I'm with you, Oscar. I thought it hit off of Corey Cox. Cox was still out of bounds, or at least hadn't reestablished his feet.
Absolutely had not reestablished himself. This is a great officiating crew, but they missed that one because no way did he reestablish himself and get back in bounds.
Nice hustle play by Cameron Hughes and a good job timing up the pass. Matthews basketball in the front court. They got it in that time with relative ease. They lead by 1. Here's Anderson Jr. Guarded by Nelson Dews this time. Oh, he shook him loose and trying a long 2. It's good. No, they called it a 3.
He was 2 steps behind.
Ooh, I thought he had a shoestring on the line or something. That's a 3-pointer from Stuart Anderson Jr. 12-8. Matthews up 4. And there you see, here comes Malback for 3. Hold that thought. High bouncing rebound hit off the support system behind the goal, and that's a no-no, so it'll be Matthews basketball. I was going to say, you see where his driving and slashing ability set that play up. Nelson and Lawrence gave a lot of ground, and he had a full 6 feet of free space to shoot that 3.
He's got a full head of steam. Somebody better find him.
I don't know what you do against this guy. I'm with you. I think the Colonels may go into the zone eventually. We'll see. He'll one-hand it over on the far sideline. Now it's back up top to the right wing and Elijah Willis. Willis will back it out. He's guarded by Mateo Malback. He wants to drive, too. Coming in from the right edge of the paint. Floater goes, but it's an offensive foul. Lawrence Galliard took the charge nicely, negating what was a pretty good offensive play by Elijah Willis, but Galliard was just a step to the spot quicker. It's a 12-8 Matthews lead with 6:55 left to play in the half.
We hadn't seen Altavista do it in a while, but the junk defense, a diamond in 1 or something, you're going to have to do something to contain him.
You may have to. You may have something there. Mormon will circle the defense to his right. Now it's all the way in the right corner to Nelson Dews. Malbeck going to try another three. That's good. Ripping the nylon. Mateo Malbeck brings the Colonels within 1 point again, 12-11 Matthews.
And Colonels will have some success. Matthews is not a great ball handling team. I think they continue to press them, that they'll create some problems for them.
I agree. Stuart Anderson Jr. is a great ball handler when he's moving forward, attacking the rim. But if you can take that away, maybe you can expose something. There's a foul as Elijah Willis was driving to his left across the lane, and he was bumped by Mateo Malbeck. Malbeck knows that that's his second, and he heads right to the bench for a breather. Jacob Adams, the sophomore for the Colonels, into the ball game now. He joins McClure, Dews, Mormon, and Galliard.
Colonels 2 of 6 from the free throw line in the first quarter, and I bring that up as Matthews has 16 fouls, so Altavista will be shooting the remainder of the half here.
Willis, catch and shoot three. That missed off the side of the rim. Mormon got in trouble. He nearly had a traveling violation there because he dribbled the ball too high, but wisely he caught it when it went up high and passed it away. He's got it between the circles now. Quick pass to the left wing to McClure. He and McClure just playing pitch and catch. Now they get Jacob Adams involved in the far corner. Altavista's going to hold it for a moment. They're trying to rotate the ball around this Matthews zone and possibly try to catch it over-rotating. McClure driving, pull-up jumper, hit the side of the backboard. There's Lawrence Galliard with a rebound. Muscles his way through the entire defense, but can't get the bunny to go. Jacob Adams with a putback from 2 feet. It won't go. It was contested. Last touch off of Altavista. Interesting exchange, Oscar. That's not the only time the Colonels have missed some short ones.
Nice job on the offensive board, getting the second and third look. But as Dave Mabry said last night, we got to finish those.
Yeah, and the Colonels had 2 or 3 at the end of the first quarter from the same range. Now, don't get us wrong. They're contested. It's good Matthews defense in the paint there. But normally when Altavista gets it within 2 feet, they're about 75, 80%. This is Corey Cox. Now it's up to the top of the key and Elijah Willis.
Chancellor Mormon just did a very nice little subtle move to get Anderson away from the ball. Foul on the Colonels. That'll be their fourth. But it wasn't on Mormon. He did a very nice job getting in between the Matthews ball handler and Anderson, who was cutting to get the ball.
Mormon will have the assignment of guarding Stuart Anderson right now. Chancellor's given up a full 2 or 3 inches, but Chancellor does not lack athleticism, so he should be fine out there. 5 minutes left to play in the second quarter. It's a 12-11 Matthews lead, and there's Mormon right on cue with a takeaway to get it away from the Blue Devils.
And Matthews is penetrated on that 3 or 4 times, and every time, with the exception of Anderson, the Colonels have been able to steal the ball and turn it back the other way.
Jacob Adams, ball fakes on the far sideline. Now it goes left point to Mormon. Dews has it now on the right point. Throws it right post to Galliard. Galliard does finish that time. Great job by Lawrence there to give the Colonels the lead back. 13-12, Altavista on top with 4:30 left to play in the half.
Anderson's blocked a couple of those shots. Lawrence did a great job of getting him on his hip.
They're going to call Jacob Adams for the foul that time. Anderson was driving. Adams got in his way. Jamal Thornhill's going to check into the game now for his first action for the Colonels. On the court for the Matthews Blue Devils, Elijah Willis, Stuart Anderson, Ethan Armistead, Brian Owens, and Zachary Giroux. They throw it in the backcourt to Willis. Matthews going right to left from our perspective here from the press box at Altavista High School.
Colonels leading 13-12. 4 minutes left here in the second quarter.
Anderson going to use a screen. Spin move. Lawrence Galliard took another charge, I believe. Yes, he did. And how about the sportsmanship from Stuart Anderson Jr. to help up Lawrence Galliard? Normally, you're pretty upset when another guy takes a charge against you, but Anderson stuck his hand right down on the floor and pulled Lawrence Galliard up. Great to see that.
Here's the thing. Anderson did that spin move, and he was 4 feet offline from where he started. Great anticipation from Lawrence Galliard, waiting and holding his ground there.
Really was. Colonels have the lead, and then in the basketball in the front court, looking to extend that lead with 3:55 left to play in the English's Your Complete Home Center second quarter.
In this 1-2-2 defense that they're playing, you need to split that point guard, and then the soft spots are on the side.
McClure, three-pointer from the corner, does not fall. Colonels have it back, though. Nelson Dews jumped in front of a pass. They're still in the front court here. They send it to Nelly, far sideline. He'll dribble now, thinking about a step-back three. Instead passes it up. Colonels, nice ball movement up top. Now Nelson will shoot the three from the left wing. In and out, no good. Galliard tried to leap high for the rebound but could not control it. It's Matthews basketball with 3:24 to play Blue Devils trailing by 1.
And this quarter is just like the first one. It is rolling by.
It is rolling by, absolutely. Haven't even had a chance to tell you that our sound engineer, Eleanor Haney, is doing a fabulous job tonight. But there, I just had a chance.
Tonight? Last night?
Good point. Every night.
Every night.
Anderson, he'll try a long 3. It's good. Stuart Anderson Jr. from the right wing. He is still the only Matthews Blue Devil player that has scored. He has 6 in the quarter to go along with 9 in the first quarter. That adds up to 15. That's their total. They lead 15-13. I don't know what you do. There's a foul on Nelson Dews. Pardon me, the foul was on number 32, Reginald Johnson. He was guarding Nelson Dews. That's going to send Nelly to the free throw line to shoot a 1-and-1.
Maybe that'll get Nelson untracked as he goes and goes to the free throw line. Sometimes that's what it takes. He had a couple of bunnies early, little layups.
Yeah, a chance to get a set shot. He does swish the first one home. Brings the Colonels back to within 1. Seems like it's been a 1-point lead for both teams a lot. Now it's 15-14 Matthews at the moment. Second one's up on the way, no good. Rebound controlled on the right baseline by Brian Owens for Matthews. Anderson up ahead quickly. Nice up and under layup, but it won't go. Lawrence Gallier rejected it right off the backboard.
Nice defense by Rodney Thorhill hustling back that allowed that block to happen.
Nelly nearly fell down, but he was able to maintain the balance and dish it off to Thornhill. Gallier driving, got by the defense and scores. It's another Colonel defense, or it's another Colonel lead, pardon me. It started on the defense with the block from Galliard. Then Galliard gave him the lead back on offense with the right-hand finish.
Nice penetration, getting the ball to Galliard in that little gap in that 1-2-2 defense.
Willis driving, goes to the left wing to Owens. Now it's top of the key to Stuart Anderson Jr. Watch out. He looks like he's sizing the defense up. He'll just hand it off to Willis.
That's all right.
Yeah, anytime it's not in his hands, it's all right, but he's pretty good without the ball, too.
Yeah, it's fun to watch Chancellor Mormon. He's sizing him up, too.
Good point. Good point. Chancellor's on the attack even when he's on defense, right? There's a three-pointer from Reginald Johnson in the right-hand corner. He scores and gives Matthews the lead back. He becomes the second player to score for the Blue Devils. They lead 18-16. Colonels basketball with 1:44 left in the half. Coach Harris looks patient over there on the sideline, but he doesn't look particularly happy right now with what the Colonels are doing on offense.
No, I would think he wouldn't be happy right now.
It's a 1-2-2 zone from Matthews, something you don't see a lot of. You can try and attack it the same way you would attack a 1-3-1, but it's not exactly the same.
Colonel's got to be a little bit quicker with their passes around the perimeter. Somebody needs to slash to that middle, too.
Galliard set up at the free throw line. They tried to bounce it into him, then it was taken away. Elijah Willis will trot it into the front court for the Matthews Blue Devils, clad in the road blue with the yellow numbers. Here comes a timeout from head coach Tony Forrest. We'll take it with him. 1:05 left to play in the first half. Colonels trail by 2 on 105.5 KD Country.
Hey, Oscar, my insurance situation isn't too good. I need to find somebody new.
Just call Mike Kinlaw. I've been a customer of his for over 20 years.
Mike Kinlaw, huh? I always knew he was a big Colonel fan.
Well, he's an independent insurance agent, so he can shop around and make sure you get the best rates. I mean, you can go online and try the Lizard or the guy that wears khakis, but hey, he's an Altavista graduate. He supports the teams. He's involved in the community. You can't get more than that.
Sounds like I'm calling Kinlaw Insurance Agency.
Yeah, call Mike at 369-5612.
369-5612.
Your home for Colonel sports coverage. 105.5 KD Country.
Matthews throws it back inbounds after the timeout. Exactly 60 seconds left to play in the first half. They lead by 2, 18-16. Willis driving, left-hand corner. Now it's to Reginald Johnson. He'll drive across the lane to his right. Get it back at the top of the key. They want to get it to Stuart Anderson Jr. Mormon doing a nice job denying. Oh, there's a wild layup attempt thrown up by Reginald Johnson. Colonels are going to bail him out with a foul. He had his back to the basket and just sort of chunked it up there underhanded.
He had his back to the basket. He was directly under the basket. When he threw it up, it went up and hit the rim. And they did. You put the words exactly right. They bailed him out.
Foul ends up being on Cameron Hughes. But I'll tell you, McClure was in the area as well. So was Galliard. You probably could have called the foul on any of those three.
Yeah, it's probably a break for the Colonels that it wasn't on Josh McClure.
That's true. That's a good point. Colonels in the road white jerseys. Second free throw coming up for Reginald Johnson. Misses that as well. Stuart Anderson Jr. got the rebound, but he came down and lost it and they'll call a foul on Chancellor Mormon. Altavista fans wanted a travel on Stuart Anderson Jr. because he skied up to grab the offensive board. He slipped as he was coming down and went all the way to the deck. And it looked like the travel was coming, but instead they called a foul on Chancellor Mormon, his first.
Looked like Chancellor was going and had all ball.
Anderson Jr. fires the free throw, won't go, got his own rebound, stick back, won't go. Galliard finally clears it off from the right side of the hoop.
They got numbers, they had numbers.
McClure in a hurry, flips it to Nelson Dews in the right corner. Nelly will curl back out to the top of the key. They swing it back to Nelson Dews, now it's in the left corner. Cameron Hughes for three. Just barely nicked the front of the iron. Rebounded by number 44, Zachary Giroux. He'll get it off to Stuart Anderson Jr. Down to 15 seconds left to play in the half. Down to 11 seconds, actually. Matthews gets it in the front court. They study the clock. They'll give it to Anderson Jr. Guess what? They're going to clear out and let him attack. All the Colonels know it. They'll pack the lane. NBA three on the way. Skips off the front of the iron. He had a good look at it. That will do it for one quarter of play. A low-scoring quarter. Matthews on top, 18-16. Subway halftime show when you come back to 105.5 KD Country.
English Construction Company has been in the building business since 1909, so it's only natural that they appreciate the building process. They recognize the fact that organized sports programs build character as well as bodies and minds. They know that high school sports build our youth into more well-rounded and more productive adults. English Construction Company is proud to be a sponsor of high school sports and salute all athletes, coaches, and teachers. A word of praise and encouragement from English Construction Company with offices in Lynchburg.
Businesses today are often focused on keeping their costs down, and we can help. I'm Daniel Wheeler with First National Bank, and we have a long history of offering cost-efficient business accounts. Today, we have a wide range of low-cost accounts for any size business. So just ask us about our business economy checking, small business interest checking, or other smart accounts. For progressive business banking, First National Bank will help you with an extraordinary customer experience. First National Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Finch and Finch Funeral and Cremation Service. A family serving families since 1905.
Life is full of opportunities to show someone we love them. One such opportunity is the funeral or memorial service. Finch and Finch helps you celebrate the relationships they shared and honors the memory of your loved one.
Finch and Finch Funeral and Cremation Service. A family serving families since 1905.
Your station for high school sports play-by-play is 105.5 KD Country.
Subway halftime show arrives after a nice first half of basketball. Not exactly the end the Colonels want to be on, Oscar. They trail by 2, but, hey, still anybody's ball game here, 18-16. The Colonels did not play terrible by any means, but it wasn't their A game for sure, Big O.
No, we were talking about it during the break, but the best word I can come up to describe it was uninspired. If you were on the road, you'd say they had bus lag, and that's kind of looked like they just didn't quite have their legs under them, and just weren't as crisp as we've seen them during this little 5-game run that they've had.
Certainly, I echo all those thoughts. I mean, Stuart Anderson Jr. put on a show there. He scored the first 15 for Matthews. Reginald Johnson had the last 3 on a three-pointer. That gets them to 18 points. I almost think maybe the Colonels, after Anderson had that big first quarter, Oscar, almost think maybe their sole focus went to stopping him. You know what I mean? And they sort of lost their aggressiveness in some other areas. Now, I'm not in their heads out there, and each guy's different, so that may or may not be the case. But I just kind of sense that from Altavista. They took their foot off the gas.
Well, certainly Matthews scored 9-8, won the first quarter 9-8, and won the second quarter 9-8. And I think that your analysis is spot on. Matthews, on the offensive end of the floor, is not blessed with the best ball handlers. The Colonels got their hands on a ton of balls. It'll be interesting to see what the stats say from a steals perspective that they had. Even in the backcourt, they were able to disrupt Matthews several occasions. Got to the rim 4 or 5 times that they probably should have converted. And on top of that, I think I'll give you the number on free throw line in just a minute, but there's something like 3 for 8 or something odd like that, 3 for 7.
Well, on that note, let's step aside, let Oscar total up those stats. Let me first say before we do, It's the Subway halftime show. You've got 3 great locations to eat fresh around Altavista, and enjoy all Subway Classic subs for just $6 all February. That's your favorite Subway footlongs for just 6 months, all month long. Yeah, February's winding down, so take advantage of that while you get the opportunity. Subway halftime show returns in just a moment. It's Matthews 18, Altavista 16. We're back right after this on 105.5 KD Country.
PCM Industrial Services recognizes the importance of high school athletics by sponsoring this award-winning broadcast. PCM Industrial Maintenance and Construction Specialists providing welding, millwright, erection, and fabrication services to all forms of industry throughout the Mid-Atlantic region. From offices in Altavista, PCM Industrial Services congratulates the Altavista basketball teams on another successful season. Good luck in the playoffs. Go Colonels.
Is there a painting project on your to-do list? English's Home Center has added an additional line of paints. English's features Pratt & Lambert lifetime warranty Red Seal exterior paints. Choose from hundreds of stunning, beautiful designer colors. Pratt & Lambert interior or exterior paints. Value price to save you money. Pratt & Lambert paints. Never compromise.
English's is your complete home center.
On North Main Street, Altavista.
Life happens: divorce, family problems, criminal charges, civil litigation, personal injury cases. Turn to David W. Shreve, an experienced attorney at law. David W. Shreve has been practicing law for over 30 years. Free consultation for personal injury cases. David W. Shreve wishing good luck to the Altavista boys basketball team in the playoffs. Go Colonels! David W. Shreve, located 7th Street, Altavista, or by phone 369-6621.
Brother needs a pickup, sister wants a ride. Uncle needs a sports car to keep him satisfied. Mama, she wants comfort, luxury and style. And Daddy, he just wants a deal that's gonna make him smile. Everybody's happy, you can hear them all say, we're glad we went to Fellers Chevrolet. Competition for all dealers in Central VA. A short drive will save you money. Fellers Chevrolet in Altavista.
More live high school sports action on 105.5 KD Country.
I'm Kyle Haney. He's Oscar Briggs. Our sound engineer is Eleanor Haney. We're trying to match the level of quality that the Dave and Elizabeth show provided last night. And they had to go on the road to do it. That's never an easy assignment. Oscar, he looks like he's got something to say.
No, I'm just going to say, when it comes to experience, you add ours up together and multiply it times 2, and we still don't even come, probably times 3, and don't come near to the years of experience that the smooth voice of Dave Haney has.
Yeah, taught me everything I know, but he didn't teach me everything he knows. You know, the master always wants to keep something in reserve unless the student comes back. The classic ham and turkey, that was fabulous. Got the Southwest sauce on there. Our sound engineer, Eleanor Haney, likes the Southwest sauce as well, and she's kind of gotten in a rut on her choice. She goes with the turkey like every night. Got to mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Keep it fun.
And, you know, I did the old adage that Bob Alvis says, the only mistake you make is not going through the door.
So you made a mistake?
I've got a real job, so I was a little bit tardy getting here, so I didn't have time to go by.
I'll let you eat some of my raspberry cheesecake cookies. Throw the halftime statistics out for us. Low-scoring game like this, it's not as tough for you tonight.
Well, it certainly won't take long, and I didn't have to take my shoes off to add up the points either. Nelson Dews with 5, Mateo Malbeck with a single 3, Lawrence Galliard with 3 buckets for 6 points, Josh McClure with the 2 free throws for 2, 16 points for the Colonels. For Matthews, Reginald Johnson with 3, Stuart Anderson with 15. That's the scoring for Matthews.
Wow. What's somebody divide 15 out of 18 really quickly for me? I missed that. I missed Math 101.
It's
15 divided by 18 is 83%. So Stuart Anderson Jr. has 83% of the points for his ball club.
And the Colonels only have a 1-point lead on Stuart Anderson. And
exactly.
You do that, and you're not going to win many ball games. And let's face it, we talk about the Colonels being 3-time defending state champions. They don't win tonight, they're done.
Season would be done, yep.
You know, Matthews has got them. If you're Matthews, you're on the road and you're up by, a bucket. I think you feel like you're in great position.
Absolutely. And you see the banners on the wall when you come in if you're Matthews. You know Altavista's a 3-time defending state champion. But when the jump ball happens and you're between the baseline and the sidelines, you're not thinking about that at all. You don't care about that. You didn't play against them last year. None of that matters. Speaking of percentages and numbers, Stuart Anderson's 15 points are 44% of all points scored in the game. And as you said, Altavista with 16 as a team. Stuart Anderson with 15 all by his lonesome. One more quick timeout here on the Subway Halftime Show, and we're back with basketball. Third quarter begins right after this between Altavista and Matthews. Colonels trail by 2 on 105.5 KD Country.
KCD Maintenance. Kenny can do it. If you've got a home or business maintenance issue, Kenny can do it. Call 665-1333. That's 665-1333 for KCD Maintenance. Painting, building maintenance, minor construction, and more. Kenny can do it. Call 665-1333. Again, that's 665-1333. KCD Maintenance.
Back to the press box for high school sports on 105.5 KD Country.
Told you it would be a quick timeout. Matthews has 18. Altavista has 16. Oscar, some quick thoughts about possibly adjustments the Colonels can make, and even the Matthews Blue Devils too?
I think from the Colonels' perspective, they just need to amp up the intensity on the defensive end, continue to get their hands on loose balls, get their hands into passing lanes, exploit Matthews' lack of ball handling depth, and you got to find a way to contain Stuart Anderson. In most situations, you say, well, one player can't beat us. Well,
right. There's exceptions to every rule,
that's
right?
That's right, and he certainly showed the capability of possibly doing that.
I think he's one of those guys, not to cut you off, but you're never going to totally stop him, but if you can contain him a bit more, right? Dews will drive along the baseline. Nice one-handed pass to Poindexter. Poindexter got hit hard in the body by Brian Owens, and that's a foul. No, I agree with what you're saying. I mean, for Matthews, I hate to say it, but if you can find a way to get the ball to Stuart Anderson Jr. more, it might not be the worst strategy in the world. I mean, I know he's not going to score just at will, but he's a great scorer. First free throw, no good by Daquan Poindexter. Colonels need to improve there if they want to have a chance to win this ball game. Daquan does sink the second one. Here's a substitute waiting at the table for Riverheads. It's Clayton Ware. His first action of the game comes a mere 12 seconds into the third quarter.
I believe Brian Owens picked up his third, and that's the reason for that substitution.
Matthews working left to right from our perspective this half. Altavista still in the man-to-man defense. Looks like Nelson Dews has drawn the assignment right now of guarding Stuart Anderson Jr.
I like what Troy Harris has done. He's had different people on him. I like the idea of keeping those fresh legs on Anderson. There's a trap opportunity.
Give him fresh legs. Give him different looks. Floater put up by Elijah Willis from 7 feet. Down the middle won't go. Quan Poindexter rebounds for Altavista, gets into the front court. Bounces to Galliard. Galliard races to the side of the iron. That will not fall. It was a very quick move to get to the rack, though, and he'll go to the free throw line and shoot 2. Here comes more free throw opportunities, Oscar.
Colonel's 4 of 10. And one of the things that we haven't talked about with this Colonel team probably as much as we should have is this team is extremely unselfish. Mm-hmm. They will give up the 6-foot shot for the 3-foot shot. They share the basketball. They don't care who gets the points as long as they win. One of the best even ball distributing teams I think we've seen from the Colonels in a while.
Very unselfish. Very good passing team. Second one goes down for Galliard. We're tied at 18. Or we're not tied at 18. Aren't we?
Yeah,
Shouldn't we be tied at 18? I hate it when I sound like an idiot. There you go. The scoreboard changes. We are tied at 18. Gosh, I apologize, folks. That ball got tapped off the back wall last touch off Galliard.
Yeah, I mean, 2 free throws were made, and the scorekeeper a little slow and getting the digits up.
Matthews has not scored, so yeah. Anyway, they got it right. It's 18 all. Kind of lost some of the dramatic element there, though, by me. But we are tied again.
Maybe Tootie, I don't know, maybe he didn't see it go in and assumed out that it was going to miss it.
Stuart Anderson was not really driving to the basket, but driving left across the lane, and he was fouled as he was passing.
That's the first team foul on the Colonels here in the second half. They called that on
Nelson Dews.
That's his first.
Yep.
Nelson's still on Anderson.
Just under 7 to play in the third quarter. We're tied at 18. Colonel's in the man-to-man defense in the home white jerseys. Nelson is paying special attention to Anderson. You know, a lot of times the Colonels, when their man doesn't have the ball, they'll sag off and be able to get in that help defense. Not with Stuart Anderson Jr. You got to hug him all night. That's a step inside the two-point line. 18-footer will not go for Anderson. Galliard has to really play keep away with the rebound after he gets it.
Colonels have dominated the boards.
Yeah, Anderson had his brief spurt where he got a lot of rebounds, but since about midway through the first quarter, I agree with you. It's been Colonel's advantage on the glass. They have it in the front court, scoring on the bucket to our left. Daquan Poindexter for three. That hit the backboard first, then the iron. Galliard to the hoop. He's fouled. Again, nice job by Lawrence Galliard to go up strong. And there's Stuart Anderson Jr. again helping out. He said, Lawrence, you got a little blood or something on your face. This Stuart Anderson Jr. is not only a great player, he's a class act.
Yeah, all indications are he is a class act. We've seen two great displays of sportsmanship.
That free throw in and out finally does rattle home for Galliard. It's kind of a knuckleball shot up there at it, but he got it to go, and that gives the Colonels a lead back, 19-18. Second one on the way for Galliard. Knee bend, drops it in the hole, 20-18. 6:09 left to play in the third quarter. Anderson will race in the front court. Cross-court dribble, surveying the defense, wants to give the basketball up. It's over to Elijah Willis. Willis points out some help for a screen. Now he'll drive to his right. Still outside the three-point ring. Leaves it off for Corey Cox. Cox nearly had it stolen, got rid of it back to Willis. Catch and shoot three ball on the way from Armistead won't go. Nelson Dews lost the ball out of bounds. This is Matthews basketball after a sloppy turnover from the Colonels. Chancellor Mormon re-enters the game. He joins for the Colonels. Mateo Malback, Nelson Dews, Lawrence Galliard, and Josh McClure.
Elijah Willis is a very good ball handler, left-handed.
Yeah, nice point guard, really a true point guard. He'll go to the rack, up and under, lay-in, falls. How about that? Slashing move by Elijah Willis. Circled the defense, covered a lot of hardwood there, but eventually tied this game up at 20 with a lay-in. Good ball movement here by the Colonels. Inside, then back out. Galliard gave it up. Now it's Malback, right wing. Sends it in the right corner to McClure. Back to Mateo Malback. Left wing to Nelly Dews. Pull up three. Good. Nelson Dews gives the Colonels the lead. 23-20. Now the gym's heating up. Nelson Dews cans one from outside.
Nice job. Rotation. Everybody touched the ball in that possession. Got it back to Nelson in a wide open spot. He was able to knock it down.
Willis driving. Then there's a walking violation on Corey Cox as he didn't get the dribble down in time when he started his move to the bucket. 4:55 left in the third. 3-point Colonel lead.
That was called by about 350 Altavista fans.
Hey, they know their basketball. They know their basketball. Colonel's ball in the front court, scoring on the left-hand bucket. Nelson Dews, left wing. Now he'll pass near the midcourt stripe to Mormon. Mormon all the way right sideline to Malback. Now it's back to Mormon. Good ball movement around the exterior of the Matthews defense. They're still in that zone. Been in all night. Half no-look pass down to the low block to McClure. That got swatted away by Anderson from the backside. Maybe he could have called a foul, but it's been that kind of night. Nice takeaway by Mormon. It's Malback now, behind-the-back dribble in transition. Wild circus shot won't go, but he is fouled by a couple Matthews players. Pick your Matthews defender. It was Elijah Willis that got whistled for the violation.
I'm going to tell you, when Anderson was headed down the other side, he had ill intentions for that ball. But great job by Chancellor Mormon getting his hand on it.
Malback eyes the rim on the free throw. That'll skip off the front of the iron, then the back plate. No good. 23-20. Colonels lead by 3. Third quarter presented by English's, your complete home center. Go say hello to Brent, Don, Crystal, Blake, Jerry, the entire gang down there at English's. Malback makes the back half of that. 24-20. Colonels up by 4. Stuart Anderson Jr. runs it into the front court. They're scoring on the right-hand bucket. Steps inside the three-point line, gets to the foul line, dribbles the ball off his foot. Good takeaway. Malback, lay-in goes. Here's a timeout from Tony Forrest. The Colonels starting to establish their dominance. They lead by 6 as the crowd comes alive. 30-second timeout on 105.5 KD Country.
Hey, this is Mitch at Altavista Appliance Home and Lawn Center. Come check out our large selection of appliances, furniture, mattresses, and lawn care equipment. We carry top brands such as Frigidaire, Whirlpool, Samsung, Maytag, Speed Queen, Best Home Furnishings, Bassett, Ashley, Sealy, Sierra Sleep, and a full line of Husqvarna products. With 0% interest for up to 48 months and customer service you can trust, we will make your buying experience easy and affordable. So come on down and see us today at Altavista Appliance Home and Lawn Center, 606 7th Street, Altavista, Virginia.
Your high school sports station with award-winning coverage on 105.5 KD Country.
Some really solid Colonel defense leads to points on the other end. Good job by Altavista to collapse on the driving Stuart Anderson Jr. Ball got bounced around. They threw it up ahead to Malbeck. Malbeck with a run-out layup to get the Colonels a 6-point lead.
4:03 remaining here in the third quarter. Colonels out to a 10-2 run here in this third quarter. It's all been initiated on the defensive end.
Yeah, breathing room has been hard to come by in this game, Oscar. I don't think either team has led more than 4 until this point where the Colonels lead by 6. Anderson jogs it across the timeline, now stops, looking inside the defense. Chest pass to Corey Cox. On the court for Matthews, it's Cox, Anderson, Hunter Hudgens is in the game now. Ethan Armistead is out there, and Reginald Johnson. Colonel fans wanted a 5-second call. McClure got a steal anyway. Nearly lost the ball in the dribble. His lay-in won't go. Mormon with a spinning layup won't go. That ball's just batted into the backcourt volleyball style by Corey Cox and out of bounds.
How many times have the Colonels been in that situation where they've had those 3-on-2, 2-on-1 offensive rebounds and not been able to get it back in the basket? I know that's at least the 4th, if not the 5th.
I think they've missed 5 or 6 from inside 2 feet tonight. Now, again, these are contested shots, but shots that Altavista themselves probably think they should make.
But another steal on the defensive end set that opportunity up for them.
Sure did. Colonels basketball with 3:18 left to play in the third quarter. They lead by 6. Small back on the far sideline. Overhead pass to Nelson Dews. Nelly teeing up the 3 ball. Won't go.
What hustle?
Tapped his own rebound to McClure. McClure, a series of pump fakes. Puts up the second chance try. It won't go, but he's fouled. Great hustle by Nelson Dews. Somehow kept the play alive, and it ended up in the hands of Josh McClure.
Well, he was out at the top of the key when he took that shot. He knew immediately it was going to be short. He followed his own shot. Mateo Malbeck did a nice job rotating back to be the back defender so that Matthews wouldn't have an uncontested layup.
Yeah, the Colonels were able to take that chance because Malbeck did rotate back nicely. Free throw goes in. Cameron Hughes back in the ball game for the Altavista Colonels. He joins Josh McClure, Lawrence Galliard, Nelson Dews, and Mateo Malbeck.
Starting to see a little bit of swagger here from the Colonels, and the Matthews players look a little concerned right now.
Yep, Colonels are starting to come alive. Now it's an 8-point lead. Josh makes both, 28-20. 3 minutes left to play in the third quarter. Elijah Willis driving, won't go. There's a one and done for Matthews as Lawrence Galliard gets the rebound for the Colonels. Malbeck skips it into the front court. Bullet pass to Nelson Dews. Now Cameron Hughes has it. His shot was rejected. Colonels still have the basketball, though. Nelly has to recover and sweep it off the carpet. Troy Harris calls a timeout, possibly because the Colonels were in danger. Let's take a 30-second timeout with them. Altavista 28, Matthews 20. 2:45 left to play in the third on 105.5 KD Country.
Recognized for outstanding service and customer satisfaction, Sonny Merriman Incorporated is Virginia's platinum service Thomas-built bus dealer. As Virginia's oldest and most experienced bus distributor, Sonny Merriman Incorporated has been providing buses to schools, churches, medical facilities, and transit agencies for 50 years. Sonny Merriman Incorporated recognized the Altavista boys and girls basketball teams for their outstanding season and wishes them good luck in the playoffs. Go Colonels!
Now back to the action with Colonel Sports on 105.5 KD Country.
Kyle, you had said that you'd hope that the Colonels could keep their foot on the gas, and I think that the reason Coach Harris called that timeout was to ensure that they did that. The ball was loose. They were scrambling around. I think he wanted to get them back under control and don't give an opportunity to let Matthews get back in this game.
Cameron Hughes, pull-up jump shot from 10 feet along the baseline, doesn't go. Colonels have an offensive board. Ball back for 3. That won't go in either. I think the roof would have come off the place if it did. Colonels are in the midst of a 12-2 third quarter. Anderson has not scored. He'll try it here. Can't get the lay-in to fall, but he's fouled.
He just glides. I mean, he doesn't blow by you. He is so smooth.
He's very, very smooth. It's NBA-like for sure. I mean, it looks like a lot of the times those guys aren't hustling. If you go to an NBA game in person, you see how fast they're moving. You know what I mean, Oscar?
Absolutely.
A lot of times on TV, you can't tell because everybody's fast. But then you go in person, and you can sort of compare it to high school and college games you've seen in person. Anderson has that quality. He does make the first free throw, so he has cracked the scoring column here in the third quarter.
2:19 remaining here in the third quarter. That's his first pump. He drills the second. Got a great-looking stroke.
No kidding. He is a total package. Lead is back to 6 for Altavista. Remember, they began this half trailing by 2, 18-16. Left wing to Nelson Dews. 3 ball on the way. Good. Nelson Dews calmly gets the lead extended for the Altavista Colonels. 31-22. Altavista up 9. 2 minutes left to play in the third quarter.
Matthews in a precarious spot right here.
Yeah, they've got to be careful. And here's a turnover. Nelson Dews has it on a deflection. He'll run it to the middle. Stops at the free throw line. Looking for help. Bounces off to Josh McClure. McClure shovels back to Nelly. Nelly, three-pointer. Good! Nelson Dews starting to heat up, and the Colonels are heating up. They lead 34-22.
And that was a great pass back to Nelson. Foul's going to be on Altavista. But that was a great pass by Nelson. Threw the ball up, spotted up, found the seam in the defense, spotted up at the top of the key, was very patient, got the ball back, calmly stroked down to 3.
Third foul on Mateo Malback.
That's the hat trick for Nelson in this third quarter. 3 threes.
He's starting to come alive, Oscar. Remember the Gretna game. 6 in the second half, 7 total. It almost has that type of appearance, doesn't it? First free throw will not go for Elijah Willis.
Hey, it does have that kind of appearance. Blue and gold.
Yeah, it does. Referees are talking with Nelson Dews about his uniform.
Come on, man.
I don't know if he has some blood on it. Stitching loose. Yeah, it's his leggings. Nelson Dews wears those long white leggings. They saw some blood underneath, and apparently Nelson's got a skinned-up knee underneath there, which, hey, at this point in the year in a first-round regional, if you don't have some skinned-up knees, you're not playing hard enough.
If you don't have floor burn, something's wrong with you.
That free throw will not go in. Lawrence Galliard runs it down just inside the three-point line. Nelson Dews races it to the other three-point line. In the corner to Josh McClure. Bingo! Josh McClure for 3. How about these Altavista Colonels? 37-22.
Boy, timeout for Matthews.
They needed it, too. They trail by 15 all of a sudden. Crowd on their feet. Let's take another timeout. 1:19 left to play in the third. Colonels lead by 15 on 105.5 KD Country.
You're listening to Colonel Sports on 105.5 KD Country, WKDE Altavista, Lynchburg.
Jumpstart your business on a winning note with the Altavista Revolving Loan. An opportunity to score big for your company's future growth. Funds available up to $10,000. Loan rate 1% below prime. Check in with Altavista's Economic Development Director, Dennis Jarvis, at Altavista Town Hall. The Altavista Revolving Loan Fund encourages economic development and enhances community vitality, supporting the Altavista Colonels' winning tradition.
Your home for Colonel sports coverage. 105.5 KD Country.
Well, Matthews called the timeout after the made Altavista bucket. Nelson Dews calmly went over the sideline and tried to get the basketball from the referee to inbound it. Hey, might as well try it, right? Worst thing he can say is get out of here. It's not your ball. Lawrence Galliard says it is our ball. He gets a steal on the defensive end, and the Colonels do have it with 63 seconds left to play in the third quarter.
The stats when they come out will be interesting to see how many steals they've had.
They lob it down low to Lawrence Galliard. Got stuck underneath the backboard, reversed directions, and scored it with the hook shot.
Boy, his footwork is way beyond that of any ordinary sophomore.
39-22, Stuart Anderson. NBA range 3 goes. He had Nelson Dews in his face. Boy, Matthews needed that. It's a 39-25 Altavista advantage now. Up a full 14. Coach Harris wants the guys to spread the floor and milk the clock and hold for the last shot here. We're down to 28 seconds left in the third quarter. Nelly's going to call Josh McClure over to him. Now he'll dribble left and not give it to Josh.
They need to clear away from it.
It's Poindexter, Adams, McClure, Galliard, and Dews on the court for the Colonels. We're down to 12 seconds.
They're going to go to that 1-4 set.
Nelly driving, behind the back dribble, steps back, down to 7 seconds, passes to McClure, right wing. McClure bangs it in there. It went off the back iron and the front iron and down. How about this third quarter for the Altavista Colonels? They came in trailing by 2. They lead 42-25 now. 8 more minutes of regulation ball when you come back to 105.5 KD Country.
Good food, low prices, and great service keep customers coming back for more day after day at El Cazador Mexican Restaurant in Altavista. El Cazador is now open all afternoon, so you can buy anytime, any day, 11 a.m. until 10 p.m. El Cazador Mexican Restaurant, a great place to unwind and relax with friends. Open 7 days a week, Main Street, Altavista. El Cazador thanks you for your business and making them the #1 Mexican restaurant in town.
Your station for high school sports play-by-play is 105.5 KD Country.
Well, Colonel fans, if you remember earlier in the year, Altavista was doing this a lot in the third quarter. They'd really take charge of a lot of ball games. Here, they do it tonight. They lead by 17 in a quarter that they came in trailing by 2, Oscar.
26-7 run in that third quarter. And you had Nelson Dews with 3 3-pointers, Josh McClure with 2. Boy, what a dominant performance that third quarter was.
And the defense, the defense started a lot of those. Matthews is not out of it by any stretch, but they're going to have to play very, very well here in this fourth quarter. They're going to have to play as good as the Colonels played in the third, let's put it that way. Elijah Willis driving now, he gives it up. Man-to-man defense again for Altavista. It's to Stuart Anderson Jr. He'll back out between the circles, now to his left. He's cut off. Good help side
by
D.
Yep. Yeah, excuse me for stepping on you.
No, you're fine. You know how this works,
That's
Oscar.
Right. That's right.
They'll hand it back off to Stuart Anderson. 7:22 left to play in the fourth. Colonels lead 42-25. Anderson driving, puts the right arm on Nelson Dews, but they're going to get Nelly for committing the foul. Ball got flipped over to the official, and he didn't see it, and it hit him. And the other ref says, no, he didn't do it intentionally.
Interesting that the 2 refs that were within 15 feet of that didn't call it, and the ref out at half court did call it. It looked like all ball from this broadcaster's point of view. Of course, I'm 75 feet away.
One of those plays where a guy like Anderson, a big guy, is driving. If you don't get your feet set and take a clean charge, the officials probably are going to whistle you for a foul.
And anytime your hand comes down, they're going to call that as well.
Yep, even if you get ball. Anderson makes the first, misses the second. Nelson Dews gets the rebound. He wants to go for himself. Nelly lay in. It was blocked off the rim by Anderson Jr. Galliard put back won't go. McClure has it now. Head fake, second head fake. That will not go, but he is fouled. Some Colonel fans wanted a goaltend on the initial Nelson Dews layup try. Coach Harris and Nelson Dews come out together and discuss it, and Troy Harris says, man, maybe, but we got free throws out of it anyway.
That's Anderson's second foul.
7:04 left to play in the fourth. McClure from the free throw line does sink the first. 43-26. Colonels lead. And a good time to remind folks, Oscar, fourth quarter brought to you by English's Your Complete Home Center, your headquarters for Carhartt gear for men. It's still cold out there. You can buy that Carhartt stuff. Plus, they got T-shirts and things like that, too.
I keep telling you, women can wear that stuff, too.
I know. Hey, I listen to you. I don't know what the other people in Radio Land are doing, but I listen. Stuart Anderson Jr., long three will not go. Matthews had nobody near the glass to rebound.
6:45 remaining here in the ball game. Nelson Dews up for 3.
Back of the iron, no good. McClure tapped it to Galliard, and Galliard shoved it in the hole from the right side of the dish. What a play by McClure. The presence of mind to just kind of volleyball spike it to Lawrence.
Well, it was, you talked about he tapped it over to him. That was a controlled play.
Nice move by Willis to get to the dish. Shot won't go. Stuart Anderson Jr. has the rebound. He almost got rolled up under his own man as Willis was still laying on the ground. They'll call a foul on the Altavista Colonels there as Anderson was trying to put back. Thought they maybe called it on the floor, but Anderson's going to go to the free throw line and shoot. It's the first one on Lawrence Galliard.
That was a precarious situation for Matthews as well. As Anderson was up in the air, there was a Matthews player down on the floor, and Anderson was coming down straight on top of him. Did a great job being able to stay off of him, and you always worry about an ankle injury when you see that.
Three-pointer up and good from number 25, Ethan Armistead. The sophomore gives Matthews some much-needed points.
Fourth player to score for Matthews.
That wasn't on the floor foul, by the way. Nelly, floating right hand, lay-in won't go. Rebound is still loose. Tapped around. Now Elijah Willis, the guard for Matthews, controls it, runs it in.
That was a tough angle to do that floater.
Shake and bake move, tosses to the left wing. Cox will fire for three. That does not go in. Here's Armistead on an offensive board. He gets it over to Brian Owens somehow. His soft jumper won't go. Armistead with a rebound, flips it back to Cox, and they finally get points. Hustle play there from Matthews. It wasn't textbook, but they got 2 points out of it, and all of a sudden they have a little mini run going. They trail by 14, 45-31.
You mentioned it early, 5.5 minutes left. They're not done yet. Colonels have not put them away yet.
Galliard cutting across the lane to his right. Nelson Dews side wheels it to him, and then Galliard is fouled when he catches it.
That's the 17th foul. Colonels will go to the line, shoot 1 and 1.
Nelson Dews is going to check out for a breather. Number 1, Cameron Hughes, is in the ball game. He joins McClure, Moorman, Malback, and Galliard. On the court for the Matthews Blue Devils, who made the 4-hour-plus drive up through some pretty crazy weather. Galliard's first one will not go. Brian Owens with the rebound. He's joined by Corey Cox, Stuart Anderson Jr., Elijah Willis, and Ethan Armistead. Cox lost it after getting the rebound. Pardon me, it was Owens on the rebound, and then Cox lost it on the pass. Altavista basketball. They'll inbound on the baseline underneath their own scoring bucket, left side. 5:31 left to play in the fourth. They lead 45-31. They bounce it into McClure just outside the paint. He'll retreat, bring it back out towards the timeline. One-hand pass over to Mateo Malback on the far sideline. Malback studying the D. No dribble just yet. No 5-second count, so he doesn't have to do much.
Matthews out in man-to-man now, and it pays off.
Good steal by Brian Owens. Galliard got it back, but Ethan Armistead catches. Oh, Galliard got plowed over. He's slow to get up. Lawrence Galliard is slow to get up. There's a shot that won't fall for Owens. Galliard looks shaken up. I don't know if it's the leg or the head.
He hit a wet spot or something. His feet came out from under.
He's signaling to the bench that he needs somebody. He needs a replacement. Brian Owens will go to the free throw line for Matthews. Yeah, Galliard took some contact with somebody from Matthews. Incidental, for sure. He is limping noticeably. And he'll head over and see trainer Angela Emerson.
Boy, it's hard not to call her coach.
I know,
She's such an integral part of the organization and the athletic department here.
She got Lawrence back on his feet a couple games ago when he was a little dinged up, Oscar. We'll see if it's the same situation. It was a cramp that time, though. I don't think this is a cramp. Moorman driving, left-hand lay-in goes. How about Chancellor Moorman? Sneaky good to the basket.
Well,
Nobody expected that.
No, he kind of lulled the defense to sleep, and they didn't have their assignments down, and he just saw the opportunity, accelerated, exploded to the hole, knocked down a little layup.
Colonels lead back to 14. 4:53 left to play in the fourth quarter. Anderson quickly in the front court.
What a no-look
pass, and that's good. Converted by Zachary Giroux. Great pass to start it, and then Giroux was floating away from the hoop at a tough angle. Nelson Dews, was wide open for three, but he passed it up. Again, unselfish, Oscar. Hook shot from McClure goes in. Moving to his right across the lane. That's good with 4.5 minutes left to play. 49-35. Colonels lead by 14. Stuart Anderson gets the roll in with some English. Back and forth ball, but I'm not sure Matthews can trade buckets. They need a long run.
49-31.
49-37. They trail by 12. Nelson Dews tried a step-back jumper, but he was fouled on the floor before that play could happen. Colonels will shoot a 1-and-1. That's the 8th team foul on Matthews. It's the first one on Zachary Giroux.
Nelson Dews yet to go to the line in the second half here tonight.
If you missed the game last night, Lady Colonels got a win in Matthews. It was a dominating defensive performance in the second half. They move on to region semifinal play.
Very similar MO to tonight's game.
Mm-hmm.
Colonels trailed by 2 at the half. Last night it was tied at the half.
First freebie went in for Nelson. Second one did not. 50-37. Colonels lead by 13. Anderson catches 5 feet beyond the three-point line, but that's within his range.
I saw him in warm-ups, and he was hitting them from 6 and 7 feet behind.
Wants to use a screen. Now driving baseline. Backs down Nelson Dews and gets a lay-in to go with relative ease. I mean, the Colonels were on him, but somehow he gets free using the strength and the quickness, and the size doesn't hurt either. Down low on the baseline to Cameron Hughes. Hughes finds McClure. McClure's three-footer won't go. Nice rebound by Daquan Poindexter. Colonels have an extra chance. 3:37 left to play. It's getting to be close to desperation time for Matthews, especially with Altavista milking his clock a bit. Poindexter scores from the left side with the right hand. awkward finish for Daquan, but he got it to go in anyway.
A little up and under, and was able to put a little English of his own on that shot. Very, very nice job finishing by Daquan.
3:20 left to play in the ball game. It's a 52-39 Colonel advantage. Anderson for three, good. That'll help right there.
You better not go to sleep if you're a Colonels fan. You got to continue to find Anderson, deny the ball.
The lead is down to 10, Oscar.
You got to keep your foot on the gas if you're a Colonels player.
The lead is down to 10 after that Anderson three-pointer. Altavista nearly lost the basketball on a sloppy lob pass.
Very well put. Sloppy lob pass. 2:56 remaining. Colonels up by 9.
Coach Hare is probably urging the guys.
10, excuse me.
I can't 52-42. It's not easy. That's why we need to go back down on the floor, right?
Yeah.
Colonels would like to keep the passing lane short, direct, quick passes, line drive kind of passes. McClure, he'll drive, dishes out to Cameron Hughes. Cameron, set up three-pointer, was an air ball. Rebound by Giroux. Stuart Anderson weaving in and out of traffic. Nearly broke the timeline. Colonels thought he did, but then he went back court. Maybe he wasn't all the way over. Oh, there's a foul there on Altavista. They got Mateo Malback. That's his fourth. That is Mateo Malback's fourth foul, isn't it, Oscar? Does that sound right? Seventh one on the Colonels as a team. Will send Zachary Giroux to the free throw line. Malback's going to stay out there for Altavista. Chancellor Mormon is back in the game. Free throw from Giroux is good. That cuts it down to a single-digit Colonel lead. First time that's happened since midway through the third quarter. We have 2:34 left to play in regulation. This turned into a big-time ball game again, OB. Galliard runs up to the front seat. He appears to be ready to go back in. Timeout on the court. Let's take it with them. 52-44. Colonels lead by 8, just over 2.5 left to play in the ball game on 105.5 KD Country.
Hey, Oscar, my insurance situation isn't too good. I need to find somebody new.
Just call Mike Kinlaw. I've been a customer of his for over 20 years.
Mike Kinlaw, huh? I always knew he was a big Colonel fan.
Well, he's an independent insurance agent, so he can shop around and make sure you get the best rates. I mean, you can go online and try the Lizard or the guy that wears khakis, but hey, he's an Altavista graduate. He supports the teams. He's involved in the community. You can't get more than that.
Sounds like I'm calling Kinlaw Insurance Agency.
Yeah, call Mike at 369-5612.
369-5612.
More live high school sports action on 105.5 KD Country.
The Colonels had an explosion in the third quarter. Fourth quarter has been back and forth, and now all of a sudden, Oscar, Matthews is making a run to close this thing. Altavista's lead has been trimmed to 8. What do you see?
Yeah, 19 points so far from Matthews in this quarter, and we've still got 2:34 remaining.
It's been a lot of Stuart Anderson Jr. again, but he's had a little bit more help this quarter.
19-10 run here.
Altavista basketball still in the backcourt. 2.5 minutes left to play. Mormon catches a high pass in the far corner. Now he'll dribble back out along the far sideline and go to Mateo Malback between the circles.
They're going to spread
Actually,
it.
Malback close to half court. Mateo driving, right-hand leaner goes. Mateo Malback elevating and scoring for the Colonels, gets the lead back to 10.
I like the spread if you're going to be aggressive.
Willis will try and score. That hit the back iron, bounced up high, and would not fall.
They're going to call that on Daquan, and boy, Mateo was in the area, and he was greatly concerned. That's Daquan's third. I like the spread offense.
Yeah.
Not the old stall four corners where you're trying to run all the clock. You are trying to run clock, but in that situation, Mateo was able to turn the corner and get a wide-open layup to the rim.
Yeah, spread the court, milk some clock, but don't lose your aggressiveness to score. Free throw good by Elijah Willis. That cuts the lead back to 9. Willis scoring on the right-hand bucket.
Elijah only a sophomore, so he and Anderson will be back together again next year.
No kidding.
That's going to be good for Matthews.
Ethan Armistead, another starter, is just a sophomore, too. There's a timeout by head coach Troy Harris. It's a full, but let's take 30 seconds of it. Altavista, their lead is back to 8, 54-46. 2 minutes and 10 seconds in the fourth quarter on 105.5 KD Country.
There's just one place where students are students first, and athletics are played with purpose and perspective. That place is your local high school. High school sports offer more than the joy of competition. Studies show that student athletes in Virginia are also likely to enjoy greater levels of achievement in other areas of their lives, including academics. High school sports, a winning part of a complete education.
Brought to you by English Construction Company, with offices in Lynchburg.
Back to the press box for high school sports on 105.5 KD Country.
It was the Stuart Anderson Jr. show early. If you missed us, he scored the first 15 points for Matthews. Colonels trailed at the end of the first half, but got hot in the third quarter, and since then Matthews has been steadily inching their way back in this ball game. They trail by 8 now, Oscar.
Anderson with 8 in the quarter, 28 on the game.
Wow, that's one of the highest totals the Colonels have given up all year. Nelson Dew is going to break the pressure with a dribble. Chest pass to McClure on the move. He tried to go back to Nelly. Nelly's in trouble on the baseline, and he threw it away. He was looking for some support. He had Mormon, but it was really hard to get the pass on target.
And virtually no time run off the clock then.
Yeah, true.
And, with 2 minutes left, Matthews trails by 8.
We got a ball game here. Willis to the basket. Won't go. He never really got the feet set and got on balance, but he was able to draw a foul.
And again, virtually on that trip, 6 seconds run off the clock. They're going to go to the line. They can close it down to 6.
Yep. Fourth one on Daquan Poindexter, too, Oscar. So the Colonels have 2 starters playing with 4 fouls. 9 team fouls for Altavista. I'll tell you, something Willis did that's hard to stop. He drove to the basket, but then he started angling away from the basket. You know, normally you set up to take a charge thinking the guy's going to continue to the basket, but when he goes away, it becomes harder to stop and get in front of him.
Knocks down the first.
Second one on the way. That's in and out, no good. Nice rebound by Chancellor Mormon to rise up and take it off the glass. Nelson Dew's in trouble at midcourt. He's essentially just tackled by Elijah Willis.
Well, that's a tough
It wasn't intentional.
Willis had fallen down.
Yeah.
He's kind of, I don't know if it's a cramp or what, but he had fallen down, and Nelson kind of turned, and when he did, he fell over him. It's a tough break for Willis, but hey, really not, the circumstances aren't so bad. 5 seconds run off the clock, and you're sending Nelson to the free throw line.
Yep. If you're a Matthews fan, you might be considering fouling right now anyway, so it ends up working out in the same manner. 54-47. Altavista on top. A 1-and-1 free throw chance for Nelson Dews coming up. First one will fall. 1:50 left to play in the fourth quarter. Nelly earns the second free throw. Colonel's lead is back to 8. Could be 9 if Nelson sinks the second one. It's up, and it's good. Very nice looking stroke. Very calm, cool, and collected by Nelson Dews. 1:47 left to play. Matthews trails by 9. Not complete throw caution to the wind time, but Matthews has to hurry, and they can't be choosy about the shots they get up. They nearly lost on the near sideline. Nelson with some great defense on Willis. There's a 3 ball on the way. That's too strong. Rebounded by McClure. He's just hugged by Stuart Anderson Jr. Stuart Anderson Jr. was clapping like he thought maybe McClure committed the foul, but it was clearly on Anderson.
Well, once again, you only had about 10 seconds run off the clock on that offensive series, so you can't be too, if you're Matthews, it's not a bad ploy. Make the Colonels beat you from the free throw line.
Down to 90 seconds left in the ball game. If the Colonels can go 50% or better from the line, Agent Zero, you think that's enough for them if they just go more than 50%?
Yeah, with the defense that they played, I think that's absolutely a fact.
And now a 10-point lead. So it's a 10-point lead with 90 seconds left. Yeah, as long as you just knock down a few free throws, you should be okay here for Altavista, but that's why they play the game, folks. Don't change the radio dial just yet.
You start trading 3-for-1s. Josh McCool knocks that down. 3-for-2s you can handle. You start trading 3-for-1s, and you can find yourself in trouble in a hurry.
That's right. Good call. Altavista's in the 2-3 zone here, so there's an interesting change.
I love it.
And a great time to do it, really. Anderson looking for a three-pointer. He'll dribble instead. He'll give it up now.
And that's the point. It'll burn clock.
Yep.
When you go to this, what a pass and what a play.
Nice finish by Anderson. Up and under scoop layup with English again. It hit outside the square and went down.
You make them search in their offense to find a gap, and you burning clock. So
there's a foul as Mateo Malback was getting near the timeline. He'll go to the free throw line and shoot 2. Yeah, absolutely. You're right about the zone defense. 58-49. I'm sorry. Altavista leads with 1:02 left to play in the fourth quarter. I'm surprised that Matthews is being so choosy on the offensive end, Oscar. I think they probably got to start getting threes up right now. That free throw will rattle out for Mateo Malback. A look of disappointment on his face.
You think there's disappointed on his face. You should see his dad.
Second one on the way.
Vince Meyer's really disgusted.
That doesn't go in either.
He takes his hat off. Vince does.
It's a 9-point lead for the Colonels. Three-pointer on the way from Ethan Armistead. Won't go. A one and done as Lawrence Galliard gets the rebound. That's really going to help Altavista. Nelson Dews weaving in and out of traffic, retreats for a minute. Now he's into the front court, and then there's a foul by Elijah Willis. Just put his hand on the jersey. That foul is on the floor.
It's still a two-shot.
Yeah, it is a two-shot foul because 10 fouls have been committed by Matthews. Pardon me. Easy for me to say, right?
It is easy for you to say. Nelson misses the first.
Not a good time for the Colonels to go cold from the free throw line. Nelson did hit back-to-back, and McClure hit back-to-back, but then since then they've been 0 for 3. Nelly just broke that drought by making that one. 46.3 seconds left. Colonels lead 58-49. Scoreboard should have changed again. It should be 59-49. It should be a 10-point lead. I'm telling you, I'm pretty strong on this one. There you go. They changed it. 59-49.
Robert Duff needs to elbow Tootie down there. Tootie's a little slow today.
It's late in the season. You know, sometimes it's a long year. Matthews trailing by 10 with 46 seconds left. Got to hurry.
And Colonels are set up in that 2-3 zone. Again, I think it's brilliant coaching ploy.
I do too.
Nelson's going to come up and not let the ball just roll. A great coaching move.
Anderson, pull up three on the way. Never hit iron. A stick back attempt will not go in, but there's a foul. McClure got the body on Chad Lewis. Chad Lewis will head to the charity stripe and shoot 2. That stops the clock with 39.5 seconds left. So again, to your point, Oscar, at least it didn't take off much time for Matthews. They've got to hustle. I mean, they have got to hustle. That free throw doesn't go in. That doesn't help. Altavista fans, I think, are feeling much better about this. 20 or 30 seconds ago, not as comfortable, but now I think the writing is on the wall.
Well, certainly when they closed it down to 7, you could feel a little bit of tension in the air here.
Stuart Anderson Jr. is going to check out of the game. He walks up and down the bench and shakes everybody's hand. Here's a timeout on the court. We'll take it with them. 39.5 seconds left. It's a 10-point Altavista lead on 105.5 KD Country.
Finch and Finch Funeral and Cremation Service. A family serving families since 1905.
Life is full of opportunities to show someone we love them. One such opportunity is the funeral or memorial service. Finch and Finch helps you celebrate the relationships they shared and honors the memory of your loved one.
Finch and Finch Funeral and Cremation Service. A family serving families since 1905.
Your high school sports station with award-winning coverage on 105.5 KD Country.
Well, interesting stuff there in the timeout, Oscar. Head coach Tony Forrest for Matthews cleared the bench somewhat, took out Stuart Anderson Jr., put the starters on the bench and some other guys in. Coach Harris has done the same thing. Tony Forrest Jr. has seen the writing on the wall. There's a steal, though, for Matthews. All of a sudden, the clock stops with 37 seconds left. Do you think Coach Forrest did that a little too early? Not to second guess,
no.
Just your opinion.
I'm going to second guess. I've never seen a 10-point game with 40 seconds left, 39 left, that you pull, a guy that's got almost 30, you pull him and put him on the bench. This is interesting.
It's a 9-point game now. Corey Cox is up there. He misses the first free throw. He can make the second and make it an 8-point game with 37 seconds left. I don't know. I hate to second guess.
I'm all about sportsmanship, but holy cow.
Cox does make the second. This is an 8-point Matthews lead. Altavista just turned it in on the last inbound opportunity. Matthews is going to play full court defense. Hughes has it. Now he's fouled. That was Chad Lewis committing the foul, and it looked to be intentional.
Okay, if you're going to, what's the purpose of doing an intentional foul? If you've already pulled your starters.
Right.
I'm a little bit conflicted here.
I'm conflicted, too. One starter is out there for Matthews. That's Brian Owens. It's all seniors on the court right now for Matthews. I will point that out.
Oh, that's a great.
Chad Lewis is a senior. Brian Owens is a senior. Zachary Jaros is a senior.
And Coach
Corey Cox is a senior. And Marshall Barrick is a senior in the ballgame.
Boy, Coach Forrest is still coaching his heart out.
And I love to see that. Cameron Hughes sinks the first for Altavista, does can the second. Now our point might be a little bit moot because the Colonels are back to a 10-point lead with 28 seconds left. He wanted these seniors to get one last chance in their careers, and Corey Cox drains the three. I mean, it's a 7-point game now. 19 seconds. There's a foul by Chad Lewis. All right, that'll stop the clock with 17.9 seconds. So let's just play hypothetical here really quickly. Let's say Cameron Hughes misses both, and Matthews comes down and sinks another three. It'll be a 4-point game. You have to put Stuart Anderson back in then, right?
If he misses on the second one and there's a foul,
I know.
No clock burns off, and he woefully misses that one.
Hughes barely nicked the front iron there. I don't think the Colonels are being too casual. I think the five that are out there are playing hard. It's Traquan Farmer, Jordan Witcher, Cameron Hughes, Jacob Adams, and Jamal Thornhill. He does sink the second. 17.9 seconds left. It's 62-54. Desperation three from Matthews in and out. It was nearly good. Jacob Adams gets the rebound for Altavista. That's going to do it, I think. Down to 7 seconds. Matthews is not going to foul. The Altavista Colonels are going to get a hard-fought win, even if it ended a little strangely. They'll move on to the region semifinals. This also gets them locked into the state quarterfinals. 62-54. Altavista on top. It's the Subway postgame show right after this on 105.5 KD Country.
PCM Industrial Services recognizes the importance of high school athletics by sponsoring this award-winning broadcast. PCM Industrial Maintenance and Construction Specialists providing welding, millwright, erection, and fabrication services to all forms of industry throughout the Mid-Atlantic region. From offices in Altavista, PCM Industrial Services congratulates the Altavista basketball teams on another successful season. Good luck in the playoffs. Go Colonels.
Is there a painting project on your to-do list? English's Home Center has added an additional line of paints. English's features Pratt & Lambert Lifetime Warranty Red Seal Exterior Paints. Choose from hundreds of stunning, beautiful designer colors. Pratt & Lambert Interior or Exterior Paints. Value price to save you money. Pratt & Lambert Paints. Never compromise.
English's is your complete home center.
On North Main Street, Altavista.
Life happens: divorce, family problems, criminal charges, civil litigation, personal injury cases. Turn to David W. Shreve, an experienced attorney at law. David W. Shreve has been practicing law for over 30 years. Free consultation for personal injury cases. David W. Shreve wishing good luck to the Altavista boys basketball team in the playoffs. Go Colonels! David W. Shreve, located 7th Street, Altavista, or by phone 369-6621.
A short drive will save you money.
In the market for a new Chevrolet? Fellers Chevrolet.
FellersDirect.com.
For a huge selection of new Chevrolets and pre-owned vehicles, it's Fellers Chevrolet.
FellersDirect.com.
FellersDirect.com. Selection. Convenience. Fellers Chevrolet.
Fellers Chevrolet.
Always open and only a click away.
FellersDirect.com.
A short drive will save you money. Fellers Chevrolet in Altavista.
Now back to the action with Colonel Sports on 105.5 KD Country.
Subway postgame show arrives here from Altavista High School as the crowd milling about and soaking in the victory. The final, Colonels home game of the year. Region semifinal will be at Cumberland. Lady Colonels are there tomorrow night. That game will be on 105.5 KD Country. Yeah, a lot of basketball this time of year. We know country music fans sometimes get annoyed by it, but we like doing the basketball games. It's a tradition we've been a part of for a while. We're going to keep it going. We are so glad that you stick around and join it with us. One other music note before we get back to basketball. Honky Tonk Jukebox on at 8 o'clock. The Sugar Daddy is going back to 1981. That was one of those power years in country music. Had a lot of the guys from the 60s and 70s still kicking it, but then the new school types of the 80s really starting to make their mark. Okay, back to basketball. It's a 62-54 victory for the Altavista Colonels. Wow, they trailed by 2 at halftime, exploded in the third quarter, and then the fourth quarter was when the plot really thickened as Matthews started to make a very good comeback. In the end, Altavista is able to hold on, made enough free throws, Oscar, and ends up being a pretty solid performance for the Colonels in a game where they were really tested.
They were tested, and trailing by 2 at the half, They came out. I think we talked about it at the half. If you're a Colonels fan, what do you need to see happen? They certainly turned up the defensive intensity. And really, I think that turned the tide and really exploded for that 26-point third quarter. Doesn't hurt you that Nelson Dews heated up like a microwave, and so did Josh McClure, and they hit 5 threes in that quarter.
Great point. Yeah, the third quarter, I think that was probably the big message in the locker room at halftime from Coach Harris. Let's make the recommitment to defense, boxing out. Let's keep Stuart Anderson Jr. in front of us. And things took care of themselves for Altavista. They did a nice job down the stretch, too, to hold off a hard-charging Matthews squad. Another time out here in the Subway post-game show. We'll bring it back with stats, Radio Shack player of the game. Try to talk a little bit more about tomorrow, Lady Colonels basketball, and then the Altavista guys will be in action Friday at Cumberland in the region semifinal. All that and more when the Subway post-game show returns. 62-54. Colonels get the win over Matthews on 105.5 KD Country.
KCD Maintenance. Kenny can do it. If you've got a home or business maintenance issue, Kenny can do it. Call 665-1333. That's 665-1333 for KCD Maintenance. Painting, building maintenance, minor construction, and more. Kenny can do it. Call 665-1333. Again, that's 665-1333. KCD Maintenance.
Hey, this is Mitch at Altavista Appliance Home and Lawn Center. Come check out our large selection of appliances, furniture, mattresses, and lawn care equipment. We carry top brands such as Frigidaire, Whirlpool, Samsung, Maytag, Speed Queen, Best Home Furnishings, Bassett, Ashley, Sealy, Sierra Sleep, and a full line of Husqvarna products. With 0% interest for up to 48 months and customer service you can trust, we will make your buying experience easy and affordable. So come on down and see us today at Altavista Appliance Home and Lawn Center, 606 7th Street, Altavista, Virginia.
Recognized for outstanding service and customer satisfaction, Sonny Merriman Incorporated is Virginia's platinum service Thomas-built bus dealer. As Virginia's oldest and most experienced bus distributor, Sonny Merriman Incorporated has been providing buses to schools, churches, medical facilities, and transit agencies for 50 years. Sonny Merriman Incorporated recognized the Altavista boys and girls basketball teams for their outstanding season and wishes them good luck in the playoffs. Go Colonels!
Jumpstart your business on a winning note with the Altavista Revolving Loan. An opportunity to score big for your company's future growth. Funds available up to $10,000. Loan rate 1% below prime. Check in with Altavista's Economic Development Director, Dennis Jarvis, at Altavista Town Hall. The Altavista Revolving Loan Fund encourages economic development and enhances community vitality, supporting the Altavista Colonels' winning tradition.
Your home for Colonel sports coverage. 105.5 KD Country.
Subway post-game show returns. Altavista with the win, 62-54. You heard it all live on KD Country. Big hello again and thank you to the Matthews fans that tuned in. You got a great ball club. Everybody from Matthews, super nice. You know, that's what we heard a lot from Dave and Elizabeth, who made the trip down there yesterday. Oscar. Great people down there, just happy to see them. And it was the same way here. I met a couple folks in the parking lot. They were looking for where the gym was, and just great people. And I mean, the sportsmanship, too, was there. That's the thing about Stuart Anderson Jr. Not only is he a great player, it's like he's running for Congress or something out there, the way he's helping guys up and talking to guys and his own teammates, the other team, the officials. Just a class act all the way around.
Yeah, a lot of times you hear about a player talking to the other team, and we didn't see any of that type of trash talk. It was, hey, you know, you got a little bit of blood there, and sorry about that, and helping each other up, and class act, and in addition to being certainly one of the top 2 or 3 ball players we've seen this year. Yeah,
before we get to the stats, Agent Zero, let's talk about that third quarter again. I mean, it's really, it was the difference for Altavista. If Matthews plays them even in that third quarter, then the Blue Devils probably win the game. But the Colonels, just one of their vintage third quarters there, it really did it.
I mean, you go out and outscore a team by 19 points. It's just almost impossible to recover from that, especially when you play the kind of defense that the Colonels did. Now, the Colonels got outscored 19-10 in the fourth quarter, I think is what the final turned out to be. But just too little too late.
Yeah, so there you go. I mean, okay, the Colonels got outscored 19-10 in the fourth quarter. That means if you break it down by quarter, Matthews won every quarter except the third. But, again, such a great performance in the third quarter by Altavista. Nelson Dews, hotter than a microwave, as Oscar said moments ago. That was a great line. With three 3-pointers. McClure had 2 3-pointers. Great stuff.
Yeah, it was 29-20 the fourth quarter.
In the fourth quarter,
yeah.
Okay. So they still outscored them by 9. Yep. So,
but still, I mean, the Colonels had a big quarter and scored 26, and we talked about that. And then lo and behold, Matthews hangs 29 on Altavista in the fourth.
Sure. Yep. Yeah, and I don't think the Colonels stopped playing defense in the fourth by any means. Matthews was just intent on making that comeback. They just fell a little bit short. It was a 62-54 victory for the Altavista Colonels. Stats now, or you want to take a breather? You need to collect yourself.
No, let's do the stats, and then we'll take a break and come back with the Radio Shack player of the game.
Perfect.
First for the Altavista. Cameron Hughes with 3, Nelson Dews with 18, Mateo Malbach with 8, Daquan Poindexter with 3, Chancellor Mormon with 2, Lawrence Galliard with 13, Josh McClure with 15. For Matthews, Elijah Willis with 5, Chad Lewis with 1, Stuart Anderson with 30, Corey Cox with 6, Brian Owens with 2, Ethan Armistead with 3, Reginald Johnson with 3, Zachary Jaros with 4.
Balanced scoring with the one exception, of course, Stuart Anderson Jr., but a lot of other guys pitching in there, and that's probably what Matthews needed. Maybe that's what they needed more of, was more balance, you know.
And well, once again, you had 3 Colonels in double figures again. A little bit of that three-headed monster, a little bit of a different three-headed monster than the other night, but certainly the Colonels able to continue to put 3 players in double figures, and that bodes well for them as they move forward here, not only in the regional, but, hey, they advanced to the state tournament, so kudos to the Colonels.
Yeah, it sure does. You can't key on one guy. I mean, the Colonels have 5 legit guys that can score in double figures at any moment, the 5 starters, and then, you know, I'll even say a couple guys off the bench that could jump up and surprise you and get in double figures if they have a great night. So Altavista, very well balanced. They win 62-54 over Matthews. That doesn't really tell the whole story because Matthews was down 19 at one point, and Altavista only ends up winning by 6.
And they closed it within 7. We thought that they had a legit chance of getting it even below that.
Yeah, they win by 8. Good call on the math. You didn't call me out too rough on it. 62-54. That's an 8-point victory for Altavista. Math, man, if there was no math involved in this game, I'd be perfect. I need to get in some game where there's no math involved. Are there any sports where there's no math?
No.
No kidding. Good luck to me. I'm trying to think of one right now, and I can't.
Yeah, we'll take a break.
We definitely need to take a break on that. I'll take a math class in between the timeout. Subway post-game show returns for the final segment right after this. Altavista with the victory, 62-54 over Matthews. You heard it live on 105.5 KD Country.
Some people have never tried food at a Mexican restaurant, so we asked Chad Shelton from Shelton's Plumbing and Heating about his experience.
I wasn't so sure what the green stuff was, but they slipped some on my plate one day, and now I won't have a meal without guacamole. Still can't spell it.
At El Cazador Mexican Restaurant, if you have questions, they give you the answers in English. Mexican and American foods, affordable prices, and fast service. Try it today, El Cazador, Main Street, Altavista.
Hey, Oscar, my insurance situation isn't too good. I need to find somebody new.
Just call Mike Kinlaw. I've been a customer of his for over 20 years.
Mike Kinlaw, huh? I always knew he was a big Colonel fan.
Well, he's an independent insurance agent, so he can shop around and make sure you get the best rates. I mean, you can go online and try the Lizard or the guy that wears khakis, but hey, he's an Altavista graduate. He supports the teams. He's involved in the community. You can't get more than that.
Sounds like I'm calling Kinlaw Insurance Agency.
Yeah, call Mike at 369-5612.
369-5612.
Your station for high school sports play-by-play is 105.5 KD Country.
Subway post-game show returns for the final segment. Final segment here from Altavista High School. Hey, Big O, the Colonel Club has done a great job all year out in the concession stand. Guys like Lee Stinnett and them, they just they do a great job helping out with the atmosphere here. The concession stand, always very well run. product here at Altavista is great. Dean Hubbard and Ty Gafford deserve a lot of praise here. Hard to find a better atmosphere for basketball than at Altavista.
Well, in addition to that, we're transparent, and they're transparent. We have total access to the facilities. Mm-hmm. The coaches are open and honest and transparent with us. We have full access, whether it be football with Coach Sharness, basketball with Coach Harris, full access. Coach Gafford, Athletic Director Hubbard, all support that, and the coaches are more than happy to really give us any information. Probably sometimes give us information we shouldn't have, but they cooperate with us and help us bring the type of product that we're able to bring. We can't thank them enough for the access that they give us.
Yeah, Coach Harris and I sometimes joke around like, if the other team's listening, I might not want to answer this question, but when the Subway pregame show is playing and our interview with Coach Harris is playing, the other team is generally out there doing their pregame warm-up, so Coach Harris can't give away too much. Before we get to our Radio Shack players of the game, let's remind you, Lady Colonels in action at 6 p.m. tomorrow at Cumberland. If you can't make the drive, we'll be there. Subway pregame show starts at 5:45. They're playing Appomattox Regional Governor's School, and that's an interesting case there, Oscar. That is not Appomattox County. That is not the Appomattox that Altavista usually plays, so that's a little confusing. This is Appomattox Regional Governor's School out of Petersburg, just south of Richmond. Same way the Central Virginia Governor's School at Heritage works. This is similar, except these kids go there the whole time. The Governor's School in Lynchburg, you'll go there half a day, then you go back to your regular high school. Little different setup. They've got their own sports teams, and by all accounts, this team is very good, and the Lady Colonels are going to have their hands full. They play an up-tempo style of basketball, is the scouting report on them.
Well, that'll fit well against the Colonels. They're great defense, and the ability of the Kraft sisters and Erica Mabry to knock down threes. It should be a high-scoring affair.
Should be. Altavista guys are back in action at Cumberland. Time and opponent to be determined on that one. They either play at 6 or at 8. Either way, Subway pregame show will get underway about 20 minutes before the ball game on 105.5 KD Country. Okay, player of the game time for the Matthews Blue Devils. This is pretty easy. No offense to the other guys on the roster. They played hard. I think they got a good ball club, got some talent coming back, but we've got to be in agreement on this one, right?
Absolutely.
You dropped 30-plus, and, oh, man, the dunk. Remember the dunk. You're never going to forget the dunk.
No, it was as Juan Thornhill-esque as we talked about. And scored 15 in each half, and as good a ball player, again, as I think we've seen all year. It's an easy pick for me. I concur with Stuart Anderson, Jr.
You and I were racking our brains just talking about people that we've seen. Stuart Anderson, Jr. probably has the best upside. He's a legit D1 prospect. Maybe not your ACC or your Big Ten or your Big East, but, a Big South, ODU, JMU, all those types of guys, he could fit right in there and play.
And a junior.
And just a junior. Going to keep getting better. On the other side for the Altavista Colonels, this is a bit of a discussion point. Oscar shakes his head and says no. He says...
I got it. I'm going first.
Hold on. Before you get there, we sent a shout-out to Caleb Cothran earlier. Chriselle Cothran, his mother, says, no, there is not a sport that does not use math. What about, like, hiking or something? If you get to the top of the mountain, you win, right? Oh, Oscar says it's not a sport. Darn it. All right, I better learn math, and I better get on it quick because we've got more ball games this week. Go ahead, Oscar. Your pick for the Colonels player of the game.
Boy, Nelson Dews. I generally don't like to go with the leading scorer, but Nelson Dews, those 3 3-pointers. In addition, he was on Stuart Anderson that pretty much the majority of that third quarter. Did a great job in ball denial and keeping the ball away from him. Only held him to only 5 points in that quarter, which really, stemmed the tide with that big quarter. Nelson Dews is an easy pick for me.
Yeah, I'm actually going to agree with you. If Nelson Dews just had the point total, I probably might have looked somewhere else, but you're right. He did a nice job shutting down Stuart Anderson. Some other guys took their turn on him, but when Nelson got on him, he did a good job holding him in check. So, great point by you. I concur. It's unanimous on both sides. And a nice game here tonight, a 62-54 victory for the Altavista Colonels. Big shout-out to our sound engineer, Eleanor Haney. She's the player of the game all the time. She's working so hard during these playoff seasons. The Colonels, they're always making a playoff push, so she's always got to work overtime here in late February, early March. And, oh, yeah, we got the radio auction coming up on Saturday, 9 a.m., your chance to bid and buy on over $10,000 worth of great merchandise, Oscar.
Wow.
Great stuff, man.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I love it. I think you're going to be listening, right? You can call in.
I'll be participating.
Okay. Oscar sometimes gets on the radio for those, but I think he's got other plans, but he's going to participate anyway.
Boy, and don't forget the KD Dollar Saver, too.
Yep.
Boy, that's a great deal this week. If you got a dirty car, man, oh, man.
Everybody's car is probably dirty after the snow and all that. You want to get that salt off of there. Okay. Enough of us trying to help you out. Let's talk about the people that help us out, help out the Colonels, and get these games on the radio for you. English Construction, wishing our high school athletes an exciting and injury-free game. First National Bank, start mobile banking today with the First Nat mobile app. Finch & Finch Funeral and Cremation Service, a family serving families since 1905. Rob and Trey were in the gym tonight taking in some Colonels hoops. English is your complete home center and your Pratt & Lambert paint headquarters. PCM Industrial Services, serving the Mid-Atlantic region with quality maintenance and construction service. Fellers Chevrolet, a short drive will save you money. They sponsor the YouTube rebroadcast. Go to kdcountry.com, click the YouTube link. So much great stuff on there. Sonny Merriman, Virginia's premier bus company. The Altavista Office of Economic Development, helping Altavista grow. KCD Maintenance, Kenny Can Do It Maintenance. Call 665-1333. David W. Shreve, attorney at law. Get expert legal advice with prompt, straightforward answers. El Cazador on Main Street in Altavista. Try the new menu. They're probably down there celebrating a Colonel win right now. Ken Law Insurance, proudly supporting the Altavista Colonels. Mike was on the front row here tonight with his brother. Call Mike at 369-5611. Altavista Appliance, Home and Lawn Center on 7th Street in Altavista. Husqvarna dealer. Steel. What else do they got? Ashley Furniture, Sealy. They've got so much great stuff at Altavista Appliance. And, of course, if you listen online at kdcountry.com, you can thank Chad Rakos, your all-state agent in Windhurst. Basketball fans, always in good hands with Chad Rakos. That's going to do it for us. For Troy Harris, for Agent Zero, Oscar Briggs, for Eleanor Haney, thank you so much for joining the party tonight. Colonels win 62-54. Lady Colonels on tomorrow night, tip-off at 6. Guys play again at Cumberland on Friday, either 6 or 8. Stay tuned to KD Country for the details. Stick around for the Honky Tonk Jukebox at 8 o'clock on 105.5 KD Country.